Why fucking who? It's Pride Mines. Happy Ace Attorney Investigations Day, I guess. We're so fucking back. Usually Sunday is not Ace Attorney Day. I realized quite rapidly, as I take a drink of water, that I have plans. I have plans coming up in June. And I would really like to start playing some new games on here. But to do that, I have to finish this game. So we're doing Sunday investigations too. Just because I need to wrap up this game in a relatively timely fashion. Drinking more water. Other things coming up that are less vague include the fact that there is an Ace Attorney-like game that I was unfamiliar with. Oh god, we're in the middle of an investigation. There's an Ace Attorney adjacent game that the devs reached out to me and gave me a few keys for, so I'm going to give away a couple of copies of that sometime soon and try out basically like what I assume would be like the demo length of the game, or like as long as a normal stream would go. So that should be in the next week or so. We'll see how things shake out. In the meantime though, can I hold on. Can I do this in a... Can I come over and look at you like this? Can I come over and look at you like this? Anyway. Ugh. Okay. It looks like it's in the middle of the investigation, but I'm pretty sure I like stopped right as... That is not the button I was looking for. Hold on. Go back. I was looking for the history button. Good god. You notice anything, Kay?
I can't believe there used to be an orphanage right here on this spot.
That's not the button either. I have gotten really used to the controls for Cabernet because I've been playing a lot of Cabernet recently, and like the E button is used for like everything. Time's like, thank you for resubscribing for 8 months. I've gotten really used to any forks found in the kitchen tonight. Of course, it's Ace Attorney. We're in my house right now. Like, I live here. This isn't even the kitchen. This is the entire residence. I have been playing so much Cabernet recently. And yeah, they use the E button for a lot of stuff in that game, or like it's convenient to use the E button in a lot of stuff. So I keep trying to hit the E button to figure out what things are. That's the organizer, and I don't need that. I almost did it again, good god.
And that Warden Lagarde was in charge.
And that the SS5 incident took place there 12 years ago. It makes it sound like your house is just covered wall to wall in forks. Is yours not?
Yeah, they kidnapped the president of Zhengfa. That's crazy.
And they killed Mr. All Down, the only witness that we know of anyway. Then kept all the details secret for those... Oh, Jesus Christ. Then kept all the details secret for all those years. The more I think about that.
The more you smell something fishy going on? Yeah, me too.
I see Kay and think of Lizzie. I also always think of Lizzie when I see Kay.
What's even weirder is the people involved. I think we know all of them, don't we?
Lagarde, Winner, President Wang. When I think back over all the cases we've been involved with recently, it's true. I can't help but think they're all connected.
Then we have to dig into this latest mystery and snatch the treasure of truth from inside it. I'll keep updating the simulation as we find new stuff. Just be sure to look over everything super carefully, okay?
I also realized, running away because I have to drive home. Drive safe, Nav! Also, which game are you going to be playing? Is that a surprise? It's not a surprise. I'm gonna start the Great Ace Attorney on this channel. I'm gonna start the Great Ace Attorney and I'm gonna start Zero Escape. It's just the stuff leading up to it is a bit difficult with planning, and I haven't decided entirely what I'm going to do yet. But yeah, it's about time. If I delayed it any longer, it would be absolutely crazy. I've been streaming for what, like 2 years, in part because of like what got me to start streaming properly as like a solo streamer. Oh, the new lawyer game? No, I just don't remember the title of it off the top of my head. I'm gonna be real. I'd have to like search for the email that was given to me. It is a Chinese game. It's called, you know what? I could actually look for it because it's probably going to be my Sunday. No, not Sunday. I don't know when I'm going to stream it for sure. But anyway, to my knowledge, it's also not a very new game. But I think they're making efforts to like do outreach in the West lately. I think it's about a year old though. What is this game called? The game is called Trials of Innocence. Apparently, not to color people's like opinions of it too much before I literally open the game. Even I don't even have it installed yet. But to my knowledge, it is a very good story, but the translation's a bit wonky in places. So like it can be difficult to wrap your head around if you're not used to that. Like it's to the point of like they've translated some names for some reason. What was I saying before that though? Yeah, scheduling's getting a little odd for me. I just started going through it. I might actually be helping with editing the translation. Cool. Yeah, to my knowledge, it is like, it's been finished and like out for a hot second. It's like, it seems like there is like a new, like business and reason to start promoting it again now. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like, oh, we're planning on like re-releasing with a better translation or like reporting it over somewhere. I was saying something else too. I don't remember what it was. No, that's not the right button. I keep using the cabaret buttons. Good. Cabernet buttons. Christ, you guys should play Cabernet. So we're calling on Mr. Thief's help once again,
Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, it's Little Thief. And no matter how useful Little Thief is, if the information we plug in is wrong, the simulation will be wrong too. If you spot anything that doesn't make sense, try comparing it to the evidence we've collected.
And we can examine and interact with everything in the simulation as if it were really there, correct?
Right. Just walk up to it and do what you'd usually do. Also, we don't have enough to go on right now, but if you can gather enough intel, I can even create a simulation of a different span of time.
All right, I'm counting on you should the time come. Okay, I was trying to look at the history. Oh god, okay, scroll all the way up. Yeet. Yeah, I'm guessing this was around the beginning.
I want to talk to Long. Hi, Long. That's the wrong button fucking again.
Hold on. Let me... Alright. 3 planters, covered with snow. Is anything the matter, Agent Long? Yeah, something's not right. I wasn't able to look at the case file until now. Indeed. You have Chairman Winner to thank for that, it seems. Yeah. What's weird is, I've seen this scene somewhere before. What? Where? I keep thinking I got it, but then it's gone. He appears to be lost in his efforts to remember. I forgot that the C button got rid of the UI. I got so disoriented. Perhaps I should leave him alone for now. No, I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him. Ugh, okay, fine. Hey, Kashiwagi, nondescript agent. Shifu, I know it's rude of me to ask, but can we count off for old time's sake? Just once, I'm begging you. Old time's sake. Seems a little sentimental, but fine. Count off. 1. That's so sad. Sorry, Shifu. It just doesn't feel the same on my own. It's kind of lonely. Fool. It shouldn't matter if there's only one of you or 100. You may be on your own here right now, but the pack is always with you. So quit whining about being lonely and howl like you mean it. Count off. 1. 1. 1. 1. Is he crying? What the fuck? I've never gotten that dialogue. That's really good. Looks chillier than your chilliest lookout here, Miles Areno. Somebody might have to warm me up.
Could you maybe take this a little more seriously, Mr. Pender?
For you, K-Meister? Anything. Can't believe this whole tale began right here. Kinda crazy, right? Yes, it is a little. What were Fiefs and Chairman up to, though? Where were they going with all this? Where, indeed. I'd very much like to know that myself. And I'd very much like to know when you two are going to admit how much you love your Uncle Eddie.
Not anytime. Fuck. Not anytime soon. Come on, Mr. Pender. You're not taking this seriously at all.
You did for about 3 sentences, which is something of a record. They're really making me voice everybody in this cutscene. In this one scene. Ugh. Can I help you, Mr. Edgeworth? I cannot thank you all enough for returning Sean safely to me. I can hardly imagine. I can't read. I can hardly bear to imagine how I would have felt if he had not come home.
Hey, old guy, can't you see you're upsetting her?
That was not my intent at all.
Look at our little knight in shining armor, defending his mom's honor.
Shut up! I wouldn't have to if you didn't keep... That's enough, Sean. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll allow me. I would like to apologize again. I failed in my duty as a servant of justice. I will not ask you to forgive me. I only ask you to understand that I... This too is the greatest journey. Judge Gavel, I don't presume to know I don't presume to know the goddess of justice as well as you do. But she was a mother, was she not? Of other gods and goddesses? She was. Fair judgment requires personal circumstances to be taken into account. I'm sure she would understand. Perhaps your beloved goddess is more merciful than you give her credit for. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth.
What are they even talking about? Don't worry, Sean. I don't have a clue either.
So things are finally settling down after Warden Lagarde's trial. It would seem so. Sentencing is still to come, but the guilty verdict should stand. And do not worry. Excelsior's winner's connection to the case will be thoroughly investigated. Have faith, Mr. Edgeworth. Eustace is a changed man. Indeed. He simply had some growing to do. But then, don't we all? Kay included.
Huh. Kinda feel for him now. I said some pretty mean things, but I'll make it up to him next time I get the chance.
And I am sure that chance will come. But for now... Indeed. We need to focus on the case at hand.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna walk over here now.
Just get all the talking out of the way first. Oh, fuck. Boy, howdy, is this ever a scoop. Whole world's gone green.
Must be an outbreak of something. I'm seeing green trees, green people, green clothes, everything.
They must be real sick if even their clothes are green. Looks like we wound up slap bang in the middle of the right dang place at the right dang time. Sure did, Chief.
I don't think we're going to get a word in edgewise here, Mr. Edgeworth.
And I don't think we want to. Okay, let's go.
Oh wait, Franziska! And Gumshoe!
How dare you, Scruffy! Don't you dare tell anybody! I'll just deny it anyway. Ugh, Mr. Edgeworth, you gotta help me out here, sir! What's the matter, Detective? It's about the SS5 incident. What else? No Chairman Winner isn't in charge anymore and all. But a top secret file being available to us so quickly after his removal? Something seemed off. I did a hiccup for a second. That got me to thinking, and I put in a call, and they told me that, well, that Miss Von Karma went to some pretty extreme lengths to get that file released. Aww. Curse you, Scruffy! I deny everything. Ugh. It sounds like you went to a lot of trouble for our sake, Franziska. Don't worry. Your efforts won't be for nothing. I'll solve this case. You'll see. God damn it, the Cabernet button. Ugh. Let's look at the footprints. These footprints go toward the body and come back.
According to the case file, they're thought to be the killers. They're about a size 9, pretty average in other words. It seems the police weren't able to track down who the murderer was from them, though.
Alright. And these are probably the victim's footsteps. These footprints stop by the body.
I guess that means they belong to Mr. Alldown, right? His feet were pretty big. That's what, about a size 12? According to the file, they were the same size as the shoes. It's a match. Now we're...
These planters. My favorite new game about dating furniture, cabinet, or whatever.
According to the case file, the yard stretched around 3 sides of the orphanage. And there were 3 planters on each side.
Yes. Planters arranged in a very particular pattern. One we've seen somewhere before.
Shame there aren't many flowers, but I guess it was the middle of winter.
Yes, but look at that one. It's bright yellow.
Weird. How come there's only one? Wait, it looks like somebody dropped it.
That's a lion lily, if I'm not very much mistaken. A rare member of the of the family who. It's a lily. A lion lily, you say?
Wait, didn't Judge Cavell give President Wong some lion lilies?
What is the same flower doing here? This can't be a coincidence, can it? I believe this particular cultivar is from Asia, where it's said to symbolize the bond between parent and child. I wasn't aware you were so knowledgeable when it came to flowers, Franziska. Huh. Why is it so slow? What I just told you is common knowledge. Perhaps you need to read a little more. This too is headcanon spoilers, The Great Ace Attorney 2. Nothing over here. Let's look at the bodies. Christ, his name. Alf Alldown. The man who witnessed the president's kidnapping. What exactly did he see?
I based this part of the recreation on one of the crime scene photos.
It seems he suffered a blow to the back of the head.
Yeah, from that brick right there. They figured it might have been taken there... What? No. Taken from here in the yard.
It looks like the blood flowed from the head wound and spread over the surrounding area.
Here, a gift for you. This is Mr. Alldown's autopsy report.
And Scar seems. I'm really sad that every suspicious looking nook and cranny line kind of disappeared, but. This cell phone must have belonged to the victim.
You're right. Yeah. Says here in the file that Mr. Aldown made a call while he was watching the kidnapping.
A call? To whom? Oh, Long's over here, I guess. His girlfriend. Seemed he called her when he... Oh, I can't read. Seemed he called her when he saw that the president was there. The Nook and Crannies line is so iconic, and it's not in the second game. And I feel like they took it out of the second game because they were like, it's pretty annoying. But he has this new catchphrase now, and it doesn't hit the same. But she didn't pick up, so he left a message.
That's in here, too. If you want to hear it.
Please. Oh, shit. I forgot. Now I have to give a voice to Alf Alldown. Hey, Rosie, it's me. I guess you're asleep already. Anyway, I'm here at the orphanage. Something weird's going on. President Wong is here for some reason. And there's another... Damn it! The light's out, so I can't quite see, but... It looked like he was being... kidnapped? Anyway, probably nothing but... Oh, okay. What were those sounds at the end? Why is the text going so slowly? Anyway, probably nothing, but I thought I should let you know. Hold on, let me double check that I didn't accidentally, like, smack something. No? Oops. I guess not? It's acting like a little laggy for some reason, though. Hold on. Like, even when a sprite moves, it's a little laggy. Give me, like, 2 seconds, folks. The answer is it's because my battery was low, but I also had to go turn on my lights, so it's fine. What were those sounds at the end? He must have been attacked while he was still on the phone. Agent Long, can I ask you something? Mr. Alldown's girlfriend. What was her name? Ringer. Rosie Ringer. At least that's what I heard. Just as I thought.
Wait, you mean...
For revenge for what happened 12 years ago. All Miss Ringer had left were the memories and personal effects of her lover. And so, seeking revenge on Chairman Winner, she made her appearance at the auction.
She really was out for revenge on Chairman Winner, wasn't she?
Perhaps it was for his suppression of the kidnapping. Or perhaps it was because she thought he was one of the kidnappers. We should look at... Actually, hold on. That was the... Yeah. Let's look at the Lion Lily.
Somebody's dropped a yellow flower here. It's a lion lily, right?
According to Franziska, yes. They're originally from Asia, if I recall correctly.
Yep, and she says it symbolizes the pond being painted or tiled, right?
It was the bond between parent and child, Kay. Okay, the footprints don't have any extra. We'll look at the body in a second. Or, yeah. Camera first. So the victim was carrying a camera.
Oh yeah, according to the file, they recovered a picture. Yeah, here we are.
That's...
It's the president, right?
And somebody's pointing a gun at him. This must be what Mr. Alldown witnessed.
So the person in the trench coat is the kidnapper?
Yes. I imagine they were trying to conceal their identity. But if Agent Long's father's theory was correct, the person wearing that trench coat is Warden the Guard.
How come they only found the one picture?
He probably wasn't able to take any more before he was attacked. Brick. This was the brick used in the murder.
There's stuff made of bricks all around the yard here. They probably took it from somewhere nearby, huh?
And the body. It's really funny. Alf Alldown, freelance journalist. Everybody knows that being a journalist is a dangerous thing in Ace Attorney games. Killed after witnessing the kidnapping of President Wong.
Even in the recreation, it's pretty gruesome, huh?
It's even worse in the actual crime scene photos. That's a lot of blood. It seems mostly to have come from the back of his head. As you can see, that area is completely caked.
Yeah, the autopsy report says that's where he was hit with the brick.
Indeed. I imagine his attacker must have snuck up on him from behind. It looks as if he's clutching something in his right hand.
Oh yeah, they mentioned that in the file somewhere. Let's see. According to this, it was a button.
This too is the Great Ace Attorney. A button. Torn from the attacker's clothing, perhaps? Are we missing anything? I don't think we are. But this game doesn't automatically exit when you're done, which... Yeah, no, I think that's everything. Alright, is there anything else to, like, look at? I don't think so. Because it would have been highlighted. I think it's just, brain cloud. Not brain cloud. Brain attic time. Yep, okay. Brain attic.
Oh, it turns pink.
Okay. Planters. Ricky's in murder. Duh. Are you kidding? That doesn't add up. Why does it not add up? Hold on. Do we have to, like, look at... Is the bit not where, like, oh, they took one of the bricks from the planters? Oh, no, wait, duh. It's from the... It's... Hold on. I was gonna say, I think it's one of the... How did... Actually, hold on. Can we do a... Can we look at... Oh, we're not done with it. Are we able to deduce? I don't believe there's any more to be found here. We can't deduce, so what the hell? Footprints, planters. You're scratched around 3 sides of the building. Accused of murder. I don't know. Let's go talk to Long again. President Wong changed after the SS5 incident. I guess he felt his trust had been betrayed. I can understand that. Wow, wasn't subbed. What a fake fan I am. Ugh. How could you? Evil and terrible. So mean. But to cut ties with my family completely, after how close we'd been for all those years. My father was desperate to make amends. To get just one chance to say sorry. Thank you for resubscribing. Max. And no matter how many times he tried to get an audience with the president, he couldn't. I need you to know I almost fully went, thank you for resubscribing, Mr. Link Smash. I couldn't even convince them to take a letter to him. One time, he came home covered in bruises. Who knows from where? Bodyguard, maybe? Sorry. There's no point making you sit through old storage that won't change anything anyway. Please, Mr. Link Smash is my father. I'll be the judge of that. As warm and fuzzy as ever, I see. Not that I expected any different. Look who the hell is talking. That's a cute line. But like, what? Look who's talking. You were so prickly in this game. You were so mean. You have no right. Actually, he's grieving. I shouldn't be so mean to him. That case ruined my father. And my family, too. The people who failed to keep the president safe. That's all we were after that. He threw himself heart and soul into that investigation. He became obsessed, in other words. Hardly the best state of mind in which to undertake an inquiry. Wow. You really don't pull your punches, huh? If this game has anything to say about it, my dad probably did something tragic in the past, the consequences of which are still visited upon the president. I really love how this game is about, like, parents and children, and, like, what children choosing their own path, and how that's not dishonoring a parent. And I love that it comes up several times in multiple family structures, and it's examined from different angles. It's shown how it can be both healthy and unhealthy. Long's is kind of the most shoehorned in, unfortunately. I love Long dearly. I don't think he needed a dad backstory. It's literally everyone but Gumshoe. Long's is the silliest one. And I say that loving him so much. Long didn't have an arc in this game otherwise, yeah. Which, like... I know he got brought back in probably because he was popular, which is fair. I wanted to see more Long. I love him. But, like... He didn't... I don't think he necessarily... Okay, my thing on characters is that I don't think that all characters need to be, like, not all characters need to be a, like, capital C character. A character can just be on the sidelines to just, like, sit there, and it's fine. Like, a lot of my favorite Great Ace Attorney characters are very minimal. Evidence a character that I'm obsessed with does not even have a first name. Like, I like a lot of the really minimal characters, and, like, sometimes one small thing is enough to, like, be important to a narrative. Like, I don't believe every single character needs to have an entire life story to be able to serve the narrative well. Like, a character's purpose in a narrative can just be there to, like, exist and say hi. And it can work sometimes. Evidence Kagami in I, the Somnium Files is really just there to, like, say hi, but he has a lot of heart to him. Gatekeeper-kun in Fire Emblem Three Houses is the same way. Like, there's ways to do that and still feel like Clavier and 5-3B, like, there's ways to do that and still have them, like, I think a lot of criticism of character writing that's bad sometimes is, like, I feel like this character was, like, too one-dimensional and they felt more like set dressing. I think some characters are supposed to be minimal, and trying to flesh them out by adding more story to them is not necessarily always the way to go about it. Like, Callisto U in the previous investigations title, we don't know anything about her personal life. And she's great. Beppo gang! I love Beppo. See, here's the thing though, Beppo is named after a character in Sherlock Holmes. So, like, there is Beppo lore, theoretically. Beppo, actually, no, I'm 100% serious. Beppo, Great Ace Attorney, the original character made for the Great Ace Attorney, is like a perfect example of that. Because you see him in one game, and his traits are he's cold all the time, and he's a coachman. He drives omnibuses. You see him in that game, and like what you gather from him is that he is poor and he can't afford to like keep his house warm. And then you see him in the next game and he is wearing literally a sandwich board. And so he starts going by sandwich and you're like, oh my God, it got so bad. Like from just that appearance, you know that in the span of 2 games, it has gotten so bad that he has presumably lost his home and is now a member of like the gang that sells, you know, like trinkets and such to get by. Like that's enough. That is all Beppo needs to be. We do not need the Beppo biography. You know? And it's not like an injustice to Beppo, I think. I think Beppo does great. But yeah, I don't think Long needed this whole backstory involving the president. Maria Gori is a very interesting example where they could have gone so much more in depth with her and didn't, but it still works. Yeah. I think they left one loose end with Maria Gori, which is her last name. They hint at it. And I think if there were to ever be a continuation of it's not really like I think if they were theoretically to make a 3rd Great Ace Attorney game, I'm looking at you, Capcom, because it's the 10-year anniversary. If they were to make a 3rd Great Ace Attorney game, Maria Gori is one of those characters where I think they would do a good job if they were to choose to flesh out her story in that direction. But because they just like sort of subtly dropped that there was a story there in 2, it makes me think that that was a potential storyline for when the series was supposed to be a trilogy that got cut from the longer game, and they just wanted to like sprinkle it in because like yeah, right? Like that's what it feels like to me, is like, oh, this got cut, we didn't have time to put it in. We may as well. We can extrapolate a lot from that very small amount. The Gavin scar, yeah. I think the Gavin scar is a bigger, like Kristoff scar is a much bigger example of that. That is like a 100%, like they have verbally said like, oh, we wrote something for that. We have an idea where that came from. We just didn't get to put it in. But like Maria's is less, I don't think Maria's is supposed to be a front and center thing. More Remember Me. I love her. She's great. And like, she really gets a lot, like, I think, as a character and like who she is. I see people sometimes say that like fan works tend to reduce that, but I don't think they do necessarily. I think people get her pretty well. Obviously there's a bigger focus on like how much she adores Susato than the fact that she is like driven by rage that entire case. But like, I think people don't really like take her for granted necessarily. I think people really do enjoy her. I cannot unhear MJ as her either. I literally, yeah. Hey, if you guys, if you guys haven't, you should check out me, MJ, and Max dubbing a scene from The Great Ace Attorney 2 as Susato, Rei, and Yujin Mikotoba. It's very cute. And you should go watch it. It is on my YouTube channel. But anyway, Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Sorry, I just realized I've been saying all of this like over the screen cap of, look, just don't go thinking I'm only doing this because of my dad, okay? Long, I'm so sorry. I recorded Yujin before I finished The Great Ace Attorney 2, which was very funny. Yeah! And I knew this, and it was fine. It was in my tricking you about Ganklingville era. Edward the arc across all games, be like, just don't go thinking I'm only doing this because of my dad, okay? That is the plot of this game, is don't go thinking I'm only doing this because of my dad. The whole game is, I'm not doing this for my dad, I'm doing this for me, but also a little because of my dad. Look, just don't think, fuck, I can't say it now. Look, just Don't go thinking I'm only doing this because of my dad, okay? That investigation was solid. His work was meticulous and it was accurate. It always was. Yeah, like this very much comes across as like, and by the way, let me tell you all these things about my dad because there's no way you can interact with anything my dad did. But trust me, you guys. Like it's a very, he's just telling you about his dad moment. I don't think that the like additional bit of like Long and his family being connected to the president is a poor choice. I think that's a good one. Like I like that dynamic. And I like that this is a very personal thing for Long. I don't know that like his dad needed to be as much of a character that they like verbally told you about. He interviewed every single one of those kids, and he made sure they told him everything. I like that it ties into Long's international connection from the first game. Yeah, it's very much like my dad is the worst, so I reject it. Yeah. The other thing that I really like about this for Long that I think probably doesn't translate very well into English, maybe, or even like, it's not like a translation localization thing, but like, Long's joke is that he seems like a Yakuza boss. And so like the familial like mafia joke is there. Like it's very clear that he like cares very much about okay. It goes two ways where it's both like, oh, he seems like a Yakuza boss and that's the joke. So like the family values in the mafia sense. And then also the other side of it is like he's from a made up country that's like he's from a made up country that is based off of China, at least in some aspects. So in both, I assume in Japan, but also very much in the English version, like you get a sort of sense for what his culture is like. And most East Asian nations, especially like the closer you get to China, like at least that's what I think, as a person from a culture that derived a lot from China and especially from Confucianism, like family is very important. A lot of what you are doing is in deference to an elder. And I think a lot of people take that to mean like subservience, rather than showing respect. Because it gets, you know, bastardized pretty badly. Across both Western and Asian cultures, it gets very bastardized. But like in an ideal scenario, what should be happening, and I like talk about this a lot with this game, what should be happening is that the parent takes good care of their child. And so the child in return shows gratitude and respect. And in an ideal scenario, one of those ideal scenarios being something like Miles and his dad, or Verity and Sean, or Samson and Judy. It should be I am giving you everything you need to grow as a person, and you are giving me back this gift of growing into a like happy, healthy individual. Burn and K should be in this game. That's what it is you should swap out like Long's thing. Like the problem is that the flashback case in the first game fits so well in this game. Burn and Kay's relationship is perfect for this game. Where it's like her like wish list, not wish list, what is it called? Her notebook. Her notebook fits perfectly into this game where she like, her dad died when she was so young. She only kind of has an idea of what her dad was like. She to some degree has to grapple with the fact that like her dad may not have been a perfect person. And some of the messages that he left for her may be harmful, like the I don't cry in front of strangers one. But it's up to her to like find what her path is from here. And that's what this game is about. That's why they almost redid it in Investigations 2-4. Yeah. Yeah. I think like bringing up Burn and Kay's relationship again maybe would have been better. Not to grade Ace Attorney again, but thinking about Suzuto Kotoba again. Yeah, also that entire like relationship that I just described of like grappling with somebody that you loved may have not been a perfect person is so good in Great Ace Attorney 2 in the last two cases. It's so good. It is one of my favorite things about a certain group of characters. Anyway, we're never gonna get through this long conversation. I hope you guys are ready for the Great Ace Attorney, but I yap like this with more people. It's gonna go good. He interviewed every single one of those kids, and he made sure they told him everything. That's the wrong button. I wonder if he learned anything of value. Can we... Damn, I was so wrapped up in the analysis I forgot we're lost. You want me to tell you about the SS5 incident? In a nutshell, my dad couldn't keep the most important person in Zhengfa safe. I almost said alive. That's later. So he put everything on the line to try and figure out what happened. He nearly worked himself to death trying to solve that case. Got so bad he looked like a ghost. This is also, I like this. Maybe it all would have been worth it. If he could have gotten the people responsible convicted. But he couldn't. And that Lagarde woman got off scot-free. Like, I like that it wasn't, oh, he died in some, like, tragic thing. Like, there was no unsolvable crime that he was a victim of. He just worked himself to death. And it was, like, I actually don't remember if Long's dad is dead. But, like, I think he's dead. And I think the implication is, like, oh, he, like, just worked himself into the grave. I'm pretty sure. But it's been a hot second and I wasn't 100% sure the first time I played this game either. But I really like that. Rise from the Ashes goes into that a little bit. Also, I like when Ace Attorney characters have that trait. It's fun. He failed to repay the president for all he'd done for us, and he failed to solve the case. And that's how a family of wolves got pulled into this never-ending nightmare. That enough for you? It sounds to me like one young cub in particular took his family's downfall very badly. I can only imagine how much the experience must have hurt him and his father. We will do all we can to bring this case to its conclusion at last, Agent Long. I promise you. And I hope that the story you just told us proves a useful clue in doing so. Really want to see how a good faith attempt to analyze how the legal and political consequences of Miles' actions in Arc in Ace Attorney Investigations 1 build into his arc in Investigations 2 because it almost feels different. Yeah, I think the Investigation series is possibly the series where the like legal and political implications of everything are the most willy-nilly. Not just to like jab at the extraterritorial rights thing, because like I don't like that section of the game, but you can, I think, hand wave that by saying that, not even hand wave it, but like Ace Attorney exists in a purposely like cartoonishly flawed legal system, right? And I think a lot of people don't remember that, and so Ace Attorney critiques that are not very like deeply thought out are very, well, this would never happen in the real world. That's like a really silly law. And you can't make that argument if the basis of Ace Attorney is that the legal system is so like batshit crazy. Miles in the first game was basically going fuck it, we ball instead of following the letter of the law like he does in the rest of the game, and he basically never gets penalized for it in the rest of the game. Yeah. And I really like that, I like that Edgeworth is impulsive. I think it's one of the first easiest, like, things to get wrong about his character is thinking that he's a very rational, like, patient individual. He's not. He does a lot of, like, he does a lot of, like, really reckless, ridiculous shit with the law. I think it would be so cool to see, like, that be examined as a bad trait. He says something like humans make the law, but we are meant to go beyond it. So he just decides to take down Alba just because. Yeah, I like that this series is Edgeworth being Batman in his free time. He's not getting paid for this. Like this is, I mean, he's salaried, but like this isn't his job description, you know? He's currently actually not employed. He's just doing this. In part because he thinks it's the right thing to do, right? Like it's not, and I like the idea of examining Edgeworth in a space where it's like, that's not the right thing to do, but he will still do it. Like, the law shouldn't be determined by one guy hopping a fence and arresting somebody. But that's what he's going to do if it seems like the morally right thing to do. And I feel like his being under probation in this game should be as a natural consequence of him overstepping his boundaries in the first game, but it's not really because of that. Yeah, it would. I think there's a little disconnect between the first and the second Investigations game, and I've talked about like my issues with where the Investigation series seems a little disconnected from the mainline series, especially in terms of Franziska. I don't think Franziska's through line is necessarily as I think her personal arc is a little disjointed, but she's a really good character in the Investigation series. I also like, I love this in fan works because it comes up in fan fiction a lot, actually. One of my favorite takes on it is that Edgeworth as chief prosecutor down the line is just this like absolute force of nature, in part because he's operating under the assumption of what are they going to do? Fire me? Like he's so like secure in his position as chief prosecutor, and he is good at what he does, and he knows that. And I love the idea that he like is like making like higher fire decisions at like a brutal level where he is like, I am trying to get anybody who has any sign of the old corruption in them out of here, and we need to replace them with new people. Like that's a crazy thing to do. It's not practical. But I like to think that that is the energy that Edgeworth brings to being chief prosecutor. It's also a little weird because like chief prosecutor isn't really a job title we have in the States. Like a lot of people to like in the way that it exists in Ace Attorney, it's like, it's also chief prosecutor refers to like 3 different it refers to like 3 different job titles. Like I'm pretty sure like Edgeworth's chief prosecutor and Excelsius's chief prosecutor and Lana's chief prosecutor are 3 different job titles. And what Edgeworth is in 5 and 6 is like, I'm pretty sure up there on the level of district attorney, right? And like the point is like he's 2 different chiefs of police, which I'm not poking at that. I barely understand the chief prosecutor. Clint Van Zeeks in the Great Ace Attorney is also referred to as like chief prosecutor in Japanese, but the localization team chose to go with director of prosecutions, which is a real Clint mentioned, which is a real job title in the British judiciary, like to this day. But anyway, the point is like whatever Edgeworth's job title is by Dual Destinies is something that's like an elected official in the States, but it's not in Japan. I'm pretty sure it is. I assume it's appointed by someone, or it might be like an actual just like normal job interview. I don't know. I don't know enough about the Japanese legal system to actually say that. But yeah, I like that that is the idea of like I genuinely really love that Edgeworth in 5 and 6 feels like a fulfillment of his Investigations 2 arc. And I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but it's the same person like in charge of directing like this series and Dual Destinies in Spirit of Justice, I'm pretty sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if that direction was like at least some of the intent between his role as chief prosecutor. The trick to enjoying Investigations 1 is that the stakes of Investigations 1 just do not matter. It's just slightly more than typical week in Edgeworth & Co.'s life to take down crime. Edgeworth & Co.? Wow. It's Yamazaki. It was certainly in his mind, I think. Yeah, that's fair. I also am only just now starting Dual Destiny, so I haven't seen Edgeworth yet. If you guys want to see me streaming Dual Destinies for the first time, you should tune in on Fridays. We stream it on Max's channel. Max and Cinna, who are streaming it with me, have psychology degrees. They were both at Psych and undergrad, and Cinna has finished her master's, and Max is currently working towards his PhD. And so it's fun. They suffer great damage anytime the psychology is mentioned. It's great. You should watch it. We're in the middle of Monstrous Turnabout right now, and we're having a very fun time. But yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's the stakes of Investigations 1 don't matter. It's just a slightly more than typical week, and it's a slightly ridiculous week, and it's more of a, I care less about it from a world building standpoint than from a character building standpoint. Like, and to be fair, that's the point of the Investigations games, is people like Edgeworth, let's make an Edgeworth game. Edgeworth in Dual Destinies is very interesting because his major role in the story is really only apparent in hindsight after you finish the game. Yeah. Like, I know a bit of his involvement, and why his involvement is apparent early on. His job title got mentioned in Monstrous Turnabout. He has not been mentioned. But yeah, it's interesting. That's all you have to say after I poured my heart out to you? Why do I waste my time? Happy Pride Month. Hold on. Is there anything else to present to you? Hey, look at the dead president. No, I'm kidding. Okay, this is the same thing. That's all you have to say to me after I poured my heart out to you is crazy. Why are you shoving this in my face? You ought to be careful I don't bite it. Perhaps I'd better put it away. Stupid. Okay. Hold on. Is there anything we can, like, turn around, examine? No, no. Oh, wait. No. Man. Okay. Like, I see the, like, threads of what we're supposed to look at, but I vaguely remember, like, different details about it, but I don't know what we're supposed to do next, you know? Plus 5 incident case file. It's also, this is one of those cases where it's like, you actually have 3 crimes worth of evidence in your folder, and you have to look at all of it. You guys have anything to say yet? Nope. Nope. Woof. Yeah. Because, okay, like, look at our organizer. We have the president's murder. We have the kidnapping of what was supposed to be Sean, but ended up being Eustace. We have, sorry, 4, because we also have these pieces of evidence on Bronco Knight's murder, and then we have the SS5 incident. That's 4 cases worth of evidence. Last Dual Destinies, thought I swear. Main story Dual Destinies also feels more like Apollo Justice than most folks give it credit for. And that you don't really play as Phoenix very much at all until the end, and Phoenix is usually away doing things that you don't know about until the end. Ignore Whale Case. Whale Case is DLC, so it's fine. Whale Case is DLC, so it's fine. Which is not, oh, we didn't check this. That's what it is. Aha! What was I gonna say? Whale Case is DLC, and also the purpose of Whale Case is to tell you, hey, here is Phoenix's first case back. Ta-da! So, like, it's fine that it doesn't do that. It's a porch swing with an elephant's face on it. And behind it is what appears to be a motor.
You know what every dedicated swing fiend always wonders, don't you? If they can swing all the way over the top and back again. Maybe a motorized swing could finally make that dream come true.
I love Nirvana Initiative. Wouldn't that be a little dangerous? Not if you go fast enough, Edgeworth.
And what dream isn't, huh? Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
True, but Oddly applicable in this case. Okay. See, what I assume that is that, oh, it's not in here. I thought, like, where that swing was mattered to... Aha! That's what I was thinking. This looks like a snowman, but it's mostly melted.
Well, it's no wonder he's all slushy. He's wearing a hat and a scarf. He must have been all roasty toasty. Oh, and look at his cute little button eye just lying there.
He probably would have frozen back up again at dawn, you know? That's usually when it's coldest.
I don't think that would have helped much, Mr. Edgeworth. If a melted snowman froze again, it wouldn't turn back into a snowman. It would turn into an iceman.
What? Is what I bet you wanted me to say, isn't it? Well, too bad. So the bit is that button that we picked up off the body is from this snowman, clearly. Wait, what did I just... Was it just the K icon that lit up and went away, I guess? It looked like I missed something. Not the planners. I think we also need to, yeah, look at the orphanage. There are burn marks on this pillar here.
The report says there was a fire sometime on the evening of the incident.
A fire? Edgeworth being very impulsive feels so right given the end part of teleportation I caught the other day. Yeah! Okay, turnabout teleportation is so good. Takuma Wada does a really, really good job at like understanding his character. I think, which, you know, has nothing to do with the writing and everything to do with how he's being acted, but also, Edgeworth falls in a river in that case. If you guys haven't, you should watch Turnabout Teleportation. We did, the community night, if you will, in my Discord was doing a watch party of Turnabout Teleportation, which is a original case. It's a stage play. It's very, very good. And I've heard a rumor that it's a like cut possible case from investigations. Not sure which game, if that is true, and also not sure if it is true at all. But it would fit very well in this game, but it's also very similar to a lot of other cases in this game. Which has never, like, stopped anybody entirely. But the point is, yeah, he's very impulsive. Teleportation is also another one where, like, somebody fully confesses to a murder. And instead of his, like, driving force being, you're lying and I'm going to figure it out, his driving force is the person who confesses to this murder goes, and I bet you can't figure out how I did it without teleportation. And then Edgeworth goes, oh yes I can, and I'll do it within 24 hours or something. And so like his driving force there is not, it's not finding the truth. It's, well, it is finding the truth, but it's a very like version of finding the truth than like the most honorable way to go about it. He does end up finding, you know, the truth that ends up helping the most people, which is always the full truth, especially in Ace Attorney games. But like, it's a funny way to get there. He's not really genteel at all. He's at his best and funniest when he's at his wit's end. Yeah, he's like screaming for like a solid chunk of that play. It's really good.
Let's see, where was it again? Ah! Yeah, one of the orphans set a fire with some kerosene. Some sort of prank, probably.
They sound like a lively bunch. Possibly too lively. It seems their antics spoiled our chances of finding any footprints near the entrance of the building. Edgeworth isn't Edgeworth enough if he's not shouting, no! It's true. The other really good part of that play, which is like, the other really good part of that play is because Phoenix isn't in it, because it's an investigations series title, is it's just him and Larry fucking around for like 80% of it. Not 80% of it, but like a lot of it is just Larry and Edgeworth shenanigans. And I think the Larry Edgeworth friendship is like the peak of Edgeworth stupid shenanigans. he is at his wit's end, and that is his friend from childhood. So he just slips right back into just being a stupid little kid. It's so good.
Hey, this arch. We've seen it somewhere before, right?
Indeed we have. It's the same one that stands over the entrance of the big building today.
This is supposed to be how things looked 12 years ago. Was it there the whole time?
It seems the architects worked the old archway into the structure of the new building. Your very existence being a contradiction, I'm not sure you're able to grasp this.
The future is simply the past reheated. I think I read that somewhere.
And for once, it seems you might have remembered it correctly.
12 years is a long time to reheat something for. If it was your lunch, it'd be ruined.
I love... Kate said such bizarre things in this game. I can't remember if she was nearly this bizarre in the first one. I feel like she wasn't. What was I saying, though? Yeah, it's the... I don't know if Edgeworth, like, realizes how stupid his arguments get when Larry is in the room. Like, he really just, like, regresses. A tortoise and a hare. Inspired by the children's story, no doubt. The tortoise races the speedy hare and wins. Arr.
All right, time for a K Faraday pop-up pop quiz. Why did the hare lose the race? I'll give you 3 options.
I don't need 3 options, Kay. He lost because he stopped to rest and fell asleep.
Number 1, hare's favorite running shoes were stolen by the Yatagarasu. Number 2, the tortoise trained with the Yatagarasu and got so fast that he won. Number 3, the real winner was the Yatagarasu, who plotted a surprise secret victory.
Those are my only 3 options?
Too hard? All right, I'll give you a hint. The option you're looking for starts with a thr.
Well, that definitely narrows it down. What are we missing? Ah. No, we're not. That one's done. I swear there's like a brick somewhere we're supposed to pick up. I can't remember where though. Nope, I think that's the body again. Yeah, there's nothing more to be found here. We have gotten the dialogue that tells us there's nothing more to be found here. Huh? No? No. And we don't have any more brain cells to add together. I don't think. Yeah. Because for some reason the brick is not from the planters or something. There's nothing more to be found here. Kerosene lamp, archway. I don't remember. To strategy wiki. No, give me a second. You're right though. It's really funny, like, they added in the autoplay option, like I can literally just let it guide me to the correct option, but for some reason I still go for strategy wiki. Central planter, that's what I was thinking, but it doesn't look like there's anything. Like, this is for the body, and I can't walk any closer to it. I can't remember. Oh wait, is that something? Nope, that's the body again. I don't remember. Unless Long wants to talk again. He doesn't. Something triggered Long's dialogue also because, like, he didn't want to talk earlier. Oh!
An igloo shaped like a bear. The perfect balance of cuteness and scariness. I guess you could call it a big-loo.
It is quite large. You could probably fit as many as 3 people inside it.
Yeah, and they could live in there for 3 whole years.
3 years? And what about the summer? Wouldn't the big igloo melt?
Again. Say it, Mr. Edgeworth, please, one more time.
Wouldn't the igloo melt?
Ah, you're no fun.
Wouldn't the the igloo? The fence in the bottom right corner? No. Fuck, man. Hey. Nope. No. I really can't remember. And I remember a good chunk of this case. Oh, Sean has dialogue. What do you want? Sean, I wonder if you could tell us a little more about the circumstances surrounding your kidnapping.
They took you when you went to the garbage disposal area, right? But what were you doing there?
It's all right. You don't have to talk for him. He can just ask me himself.
Hear that, Mr. Edgeworth? I think he's starting to warm to you.
I went to the garbage disposal to throw away the flowers that were on the body. It wasn't far, and I figured they'd be less likely to find them there than if I threw them in a garbage can. I tried to get it in there last night, too, but it was locked. So you had to come back today and try again? Yeah, but when I was there, somebody came up behind me and put something over my face.
Oh yeah, snoozing is easy, threezy with threesies.
The fact that she was drugged with it too doesn't seem to bother her. I guess it is a catchy name. Whoever saw it was pretty strong, but I never saw their face. I see. Thank you. That's very helpful. What can you tell us about the time between when you were kidnapped and when you were found?
Not a whole lot, I bet. Snoozing is easy threesy with threesies.
I remember waking up feeling cold. I was somewhere big and empty and dark. There were cardboard boxes with some other language written on them. I figured it must be a storeroom.
But it was actually a giant refrigerator. Businesses use them to keep their stuff chilled.
This really is the Great Ace Attorney. And that's where Kay and Detective Gumshoe found him. They really saved the day there. Guess the cooler must have been on until just before I was brought there. Like I said, it was pretty cold. Cool Days reference. Anyway, they didn't take my phone for some reason. So I used that to call for help. I see. Well, we're all very glad that you found your way back to us safely. Ugh, say it like you mean it, why don't you? He's not the most gracious child I've met.
Reminds me of a certain somebody else.
And that also wasn't the end of things. What the hell else are we looking for? What? What? Hold on. Is that... Oh, it was the... I see. Man. Well, you can get stuck back here, apparently. Tortoise hair. Lenses got out. What do you have to say, Kay? She says she'll keep updating the simulation, but we haven't given her anything to update said simulation yet. Maybe that's it.
Hey, I'm a great thief. I totally sympathize. If you feel you gotta grab something, you should just go ahead and grab it, even if it's worthless.
She doesn't seem to think much of my little treasure.
The case has been unsolved for 12 whole years. That's a long time, huh? He wasn't much more than a baby when it happened. And Agent Long has been sad that whole time. We have to solve it, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm gonna try extra hard on this one.
As will I. I hope I can call on you to refer to the case notes for me from time to time.
Yes, sir. I'll read every word to you loudly, clearly, and with plenty of feeling.
I don't think we'll need the feeling, thank you. Just the facts will suffice. Okay, that's not it. The fire?
Seems only this part of the yard was doused with kerosene and set alight. The orphanage itself was undamaged.
Indeed. It seems they had a lucky escape.
Still, some things just aren't funny, right? What kind of a prank is that?
One in very poor taste, I'd say. Especially if even a self-proclaimed great thief isn't prepared to endorse it. Nope. What was the fast forward button? Shift. It was not. Nope, that's not it. We'll never know. Gotta get some dinner, talk to you later. Bye! Thank you for stopping by. Now! Bro, I don't remember what the fast forward button was. And we can't deduce. We got all of that. That's all on point. Done talking to him. Done talking to him. Ah! Hold on. No. I keep thinking I missed like one very small detail. It's like if I autoplay, will it do it for me? See, the autoplay only sometimes works also. Is part of it. Oh no, it did work. No? Yeah, the autoplay doesn't want to work. So. Hell. Maybe I did look up strategy wiki. And we can't yet logic together anything. Wait. Ah, fuck, I forgot about this, didn't I? Yep. So that's what our monstrous hoof prints really were.
Wait, what?
Recall the arrangement of the prints. Now compare it to that of the planters.
Whoa.
That's right. I believe the footprints are located exactly where our planters once stood.
So Chairman Winter was digging around the front of them?
He was. And why might he have been doing that? We have a piece of evidence in our possession that answers exactly that question. Which piece of evidence shows why Chairman Winter might have been digging in front of the planters? Oh, fuck, I don't remember, man. I distinctly remember them being like something was underground, but I don't know what. Why he might have been digging in front of the planters. Oh, cute. You can wait. I want to look at them. Pretty. Oh shit, wait. Continued witnessed, cause of death, loss of blood. That's not it. Lights out so I can't see anyway, but it looked like he was being kidnapped. I don't know. That's not right. This tells us why he was digging those holes.
Ooh, interesting. Well, are you gonna explain?
You don't see it?
No siree, I don't see it at all.
As one might expect, because I don't see it either.
Ugh, can you please take this seriously?
Fine. It wasn't the piece of evidence we needed. Okay, maybe there's something written down somewhere. I will. There's something here that tells us what the ex-chairman was up to, I'm sure of it. I don't remember. It's been a few weeks. Why he was digging in front of the planters. I don't remember, man. What was he looking for? I don't remember, man. I see, my brain is going to the bridge to the turnabout answer, which is that he was getting rid of the blood, which is not the answer. At least I'm like 80% sure that's not the answer. Oh. There's some sort of connection between Knight and Canis. As you know, I've been trying to find out who Canis plays his correspondence just with. Retrieve the package we laid to rest 12 years ago. There we go. That's what it is.
Take that!
Recall, if you will, the report that Warden Lagarde sent to Chairman Winner. I don't remember at all. In it, she mentioned something that had been laid to rest in front of a planter. Did she mention that I was in front of a planter? Hold on. I just saw the laid to rest thing. Right in front of the planter where we left it. Yep, okay.
You think she was telling him where to dig? Wait, but why 3 holes?
Because the report didn't specify which of the planters she meant.
I get it. So he wasn't sure which one it was. Which meant he had to try and dig up all 3.
I imagine so, yes. Or Chairman Winner.
But why go through all that trouble? What was he looking for?
The brick? I think that's about all we can learn from the scene for now.
All right. How about I try to show you how things looked earlier on that night?
That would be very much appreciated. Could you take us back to the moment at which the victim witnessed the kidnapping?
Sure, I'll use the photograph he took. Here goes nothing.
Sorry, he looks goofy. He looks like a Tintin character. There's Mr. All down in the middle of the planters.
And there's the president and his kidnapper out by the road.
My father based his investigation on the evidence Aldown provided. That was why he thought the kidnapping and the orphanage were connected somehow. And how he wound up suspecting Fifi Lagarde. She was the one running the orphanage at the time. Exactly. But when the case went to trial, Excelsius Winner put a big hole in that theory. As well as, you know, the ground. He did? Yeah, after all, the president and the kidnapper weren't actually on the grounds of the orphanage. So it was hard to conclusively prove any kind of connection.
Ah, so they were never seen inside the gates of the orphanage.
Detectives must have got to find evidence on the scene. And then prosecutors come along and twist it for their own ends. Winner and Lagarde were working together. They had some kind of deal, I'm sure of it.
So you're saying that Chairman Winner was working with the kidnapper?
Your father was convinced that Lagarde was the culprit, correct? And you say he was a gifted and thorough investigator? Then he must have had more to support his theory than just Mr. Alden's message, surely. Yeah, he must have. I just don't know what it was. It wasn't exactly a case he liked talking about. Agent Long's father, Da Long Long. Trusted ally and confidant of President Wang. He discovered truths that were subsequently suppressed by Chairman Winner. Our first priority should be to find out what they were. I am gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get some water. But I will return. Don't set kerosene fire. Kerosene fire. Don't set a kerosene fire in the chat while I'm gone. I will be back. Wahoo. All right. Let's look at the new scene. These footprints stop by the body.
I guess that means they belong to Mr. Alldown, right? His feet were pretty big. What's that, about a size 12? You know, that sounds about right. According to the file, they were the same size as his shoes. It's a match.
And I assume nobody has anything to talk about? I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. What the hell is this bright-ass green light? Is it just to fill the frame? It may be the street light behind us. The president's kidnapper. We should see if we can judge anything based on their appearance.
Roger that, Red Leader. All right, let's have a look at you.
The first thing to note is that they're holding the president at gunpoint.
Trying to look all cool and tough, waving a pistol around. Whoever it is, they suck.
Their coat and hat completely cover their face, so unfortunately we can't identify them that way.
Pinning their collar up and pulling their hat down and trying to be all mysterious. I hate this kidnapper.
And they seem pretty relaxed. I don't think they're particularly nervous.
Yeah, hand in the pocket. Classic show-off move. You suck, you suck, you suck!
Hey, that's...
What? You said to judge them by their appearance.
Well, yes, but I didn't mean it like that. Oh?
There's something gloomy about this picture. Know what I mean? They could have brightened it up a little. Made the subject stand out a little better.
I don't think the lack of light is the photographer's fault, Kay. That street light appears to be broken.
It does? Oh, yeah, look at that. So you think the idea was to make the subject stand out with lighting, but it maybe didn't pan out? Yeah, you're probably right. Thanks for the explanation, Mr. Edgeworth.
You're welcome, although you seem to have completely misunderstood it. Yeah, the victim mentioned on the tape recording that, like, it was dark. Yijin Wang. He was president of Zhangfa, even back then, Zhangfa.
Does he look any younger? It's kind of dark, can't really tell.
Indeed. And the situation being what it is, his facial expression is somewhat distorted.
I wonder where they took him after this.
We don't know that yet, but depending on how our investigation progresses, we may find out soon enough.
Hey, that snowman. It was melted in the simulation in the morning after the murder, huh? And that muffler was all wet, and its little button eyes had fallen off.
Indeed. It still looked reasonably healthy at this point. Although not entirely, I can see one thing that's missing.
Oh, poor guy. I bet some kid took it as a stupid prank. Not a bad piece of thieving, though. Maybe they had potential.
You think one of the orphans took it? I'm not so sure. In fact, I think it was grabbed by somebody else entirely.
Can we deduce? We can deduce.
Could this be related to the evidence somehow?
Eureka!
The snowman is missing a certain something, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, his right eye.
Indeed. Luckily, we've managed to locate it.
The button Mr. Alldown was holding. Look at that. It's the same type of button as the other eye and everything.
And if we suppose that the button was indeed the snowman's missing eye, that presents something of a contradiction. What does the button contradict? The victim's location. The victim was clutching the button, and the button was covered with his blood, which means he must have grabbed it after being attacked. Let's run a little hypothetical, shall we? What if, after being struck, Mr. Alldown lost his balance and reached out to grab something to steady himself? The snowman. The snowman wouldn't have supported him, so he would have grasped the button and continued falling.
I get it. So you're saying that he was near the snowman when he was attacked?
I am. Within arm's reach, to be precise. And he's currently nowhere near that post.
Right, but his footprints only go as far as the planter. He never came back this way.
What if they weren't his footprints? I think we need to look at all the prints again.
All right, I'll take us back to the scene when Mr. Alldown's body was found. But the footprints on the left definitely matched up with Mr. Alldown's shoes, right? So what's the deal?
Let's take another look and see if we can figure it out. Let's look at the footprints. Can we really be sure that these are Mr. Alldown's footprints?
Well, they're the same size, at 12, which is pretty big. And the prints match his shoes. They also go straight to the middle of the planters where his body was found.
But as we've established, when he was attacked, he fell and grabbed the button from the snowman.
Well, being a great thief, I know a few contortionist tricks, but that would be way beyond even me. Some average Joe stretching his arms that far? Basically impossible.
I think we can be reasonably certain that the prints were made by the shoes the victim was wearing. But can we be certain that they were actually the victim's shoes? Perhaps we should take another look at them. Show me your shoe. Oops. Show me your shoes. I must scour the scene. Shoes. These shoes. As the case file says, they match the footprints, but... Huh. These aren't the victim's shoes. I'm sure of it.
What do you mean?
That's the wrong button. Look at how the laces are tied. Don't they look a little strange to you? Oh, they also look too big. What's more, they don't appear to fit properly. Aha!
So these prints, they go right up to where the victim was found, and they stop right by his feet.
But they didn't actually belong to him.
So are the prints by his head his? The ones that lead away and come back?
No, I don't think so. They're too small.
So neither set belongs to him? Then how did he get here?
That's easy enough. He didn't walk. He was carried by the killer. There we go. We have so many brain cells now. So then where did the murder take place? Was it really over by the snowman, as we suspect? Do we have anything else to look at while we're here? We do not. Just double checking. And because the kerosene burned away where he was standing, that's that. I think Mr. Aldown's body was moved. How else do we explain the button clutched in his hand? And that would suggest that he was killed somewhere near the snowman. I better take a closer look. And scour the scene. Right, snowman.
Poor snowman. He's not looking good.
It can't be helped. Snow and ice eventually melt. It's just how it is.
And so do mysteries. All we have to do is wait. The snowman of the case will melt into the clear water of truth.
All you have to do is wait, Kay. I have to work to solve those mysteries.
Size 9 footprints going toward the body and away from it. Case file says they must have belonged to the murderer.
They grow fainter as they get closer to the orphanage gates.
That's just because there's less snow over there now.
Be that as it may, it certainly doesn't help in matching the prints up with the name and face. Oh. Aha, the missing brick.
Huh? Look, there's a missing brick here.
The rest of the brickwork looks fine. Strange that just this one is missing. Here we go. That appears to be everything. Alright, let's do some brain celling. Brick. Brick. It seems quite likely that the missing brick was one used in the murder, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, now that you mention it, they're the exact same shape and size.
I don't think this is it. Yeah. Body was moved. Was Winter involved? There we go. I think we have to conclude that the murder actually happened over by the snowman.
Right. The button came from there, and the brick too.
Indeed. And what's more, if the murderer took the brick from right by the snowman, and then tried to sneak up on the victim all the way over by the planters.
Mr. Alldown would have seen them right away.
Exactly. I think we need to update the simulation, Kay. Mr. Alldown wasn't standing by the planters. He was next to the snowman.
Gotcha. All right, here goes.
Here we go.
Yeah, no matter how you look at it, this just doesn't work, huh?
Indeed. Everybody who is present is in exactly the same spot.
So, where did we go wrong?
One of the pieces of evidence on which we based our simulation must be the source of the problem. What if one of them was faked somehow? But which one was it? I mean, it has to be the photo.
Take that!
Right? Can we really be certain that this picture was taken by Mr. Alldown?
Huh? What do you mean?
We know that whoever killed him moved his body. But why would they have done that? What if they wanted to make it seem like he saw something he didn't?
And then they took the photo to help back up the lie?
They had the president at gunpoint. They could have easily forced him to pose for the picture. He would have had no choice but to comply.
Hey, now that you mention it, they only recovered one picture from Mr. Alldown's camera, right?
Indeed. I imagine his killer probably removed the film that was already in there, then replaced it with another, thereby ensuring that the only picture found was the one they staged.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So this picture was actually taken after Mr. Alldown was killed. No way.
And there you have it. The picture doesn't show that what Mr. Alldown saw at all. It seems highly likely that it was simply staged to make us believe that was the case.
Wait, so where was the president when Mr. Alldown thought he saw him being kidnapped?
Luckily, the photograph isn't the only piece of evidence we can use to try and figure that out.
Oh yeah, he left that voicemail too.
He did. I think we should listen back to it one more time, don't you? This is surely the only place where the president and his kidnapper could have been standing. Right there, right?
Take that!
Oh wait, shit, no. I fucked up.
That's where they really were? How do you figure that?
Do I need a reason?
What, you mean you don't have one?
I fucked up. That clearly wasn't it.
Let's go over what Mr. Alldown said in his message one more time. He mentioned some of the stuff he could see, right?
He did. Perhaps we can use that to help us figure out where they were standing. He mentioned that it was dark. So it has to be near that.
Take that!
Recall this statement from Mr. Alldown's voicemail. Damn it, the light's out. 2 of the lights here in the yard are broken.
Yeah, he must have been talking about the one over by the building.
All right. Could you update the simulation to reflect everything that we've learned?
Sure.
Yay. He's flexing so hard, it's really funny. Here we have it. The kidnapper was really standing over by the building. Yes, which would certainly have strengthened the theory that they were connected to the orphanage. So they moved the body and staged the photograph to distort the picture painted by the voicemail. Which helped them undermine the idea that the orphanage was involved when the case went to trial. Well, that certainly changes what this particular part of the simulation tells us. I imagine it will also affect our understanding of the scene from when the body was found.
Only one way to find out. Ready to make the jump?
To switch between the 2 recreations, I need to first press T to talk with K, and then select Switch Recreations. I'll give it a try later when I need it. Let's look at the blood, though. And the footprints. Can we really be sure that these are Mr. Alldown's footprints?
Well, they're the same size, a 12, which is pretty big. And the prints match his shoes. They also go straight to the middle of the planters where his body was found.
But as we've established, when he was attacked, he fell and grabbed the button from the snowman.
Well, being a great thief, I know if you...
Oh, we already said that. Let's look at the blood stain. Mr. Aldown wasn't killed here between the planters at all.
And what's this blood doing here?
Things have changed considerably in terms of what the simulation is showing us. But if we want to look more closely at this blood, I think we'll be better off looking at the simulation from the point at which the body was discovered.
Then what are we waiting for? I'm ready when you are.
To switch between the two. Okay. Double check that there isn't anything else that we need to... I mean, we have to look at this.
So this is where Mr. Aldown actually saw the president and his kidnapper.
Yes. Which pretty clearly suggests a link between the kidnapping and the orphanage. You can see why so much trouble was taken to suggest that it happened elsewhere.
Yeah, they pulled some really dirty tricks there. Taking a photo like that? That's just cheating.
Not to mention disposing of Mr. Aldown's camera film and forcing the president to pose at gunpoint. They must have put in some new film, then staged the photo immediately afterward.
And if Chairman Winter was involved, he could have changed or hidden other evidence as well.
It certainly doesn't help that the SS5 case file was classified until just recently.
Yeah, but he's behind bars now, and the truth is coming out at last.
Indeed. Although much still remains unclear. We need to look very closely at the differences between this and the previous simulation. Oh, wait. These planters.
According to the case file, the yard stretched around 3 sides of the orphanage. And there were 3 planters on each side.
Yes. Planters arranged in a very particular pattern. One we've seen somewhere before.
Shame there aren't many flowers, but I guess it was the middle of winter.
Yes, but look at that one. These are the same dialogues.
We know Francisca, thank you. I know what a lion lily is.
Okay. Unskippable dialogue. Okay. I don't know why it repeats the dialogue when you clearly have to go through all this to, like, change the setting. And, yeah, it's the same dialogue. So, like, I don't know why they... Maybe it's that it's not, I don't know much about coding stuff like this. But maybe it's that, like, these aren't, like, they're not actually making it, like, 2 different settings. And instead they're making it, like it's one setting and it's basically just, like, sprites moving around in that setting.
It's a snowman with one eye missing. And about, whoops. And it comes up to about my shoulder. That's a super heavyweight contender right there. Those kids weren't messing around.
Never mind its weight and size. I think we need some slightly more in-depth analysis here.
Well, it has a bucket for a hat, buttons for eyes, and a nice fluffy muffler. The full snowman uniform. And it looks like it can't wait for me to punch and kick it into 1,000 tiny snowman pieces.
Perhaps if we could keep things a little less subjective, okay? There's no mistaking it. This is where Mr. Aldown actually took his pictures. before being attacked by the murderer with a brick from the planter just behind him. After being attacked, he collapsed, grabbing the snowman's right eye as he fell.
Which means his body would have been here at first, and not where we thought it was before.
Indeed. We should examine the area where we previously thought it fell, too. And I think we already did that, but hold on, just double check. Yep. Yep, got that. All right. Okay, let's switch the simulations. Oops. Oh.
Ooh, so you want to know all about Little Thief's exciting new features, huh?
I'm not sure I do, actually.
Hey, don't be like that. Just sit back and feast your ears on what I have to tell you. Little Thief allows the user to recreate a scene in a bunch of different and super interesting ways.
So you were going to tell me no matter what I answered?
At the moment, we got a recreation based on the original police reports. And another based on what we learned from Mr. Alldown's voicemail. Anytime you want to switch between the two, just say the word. A kidnapping, a murder, and now a fire. There's too much going on here. I can't keep up.
The fire was started earlier on the evening of the incident, if I remember rightly. Before the kidnapping and the murder, in other words.
Does that mean something? The timing of the fire, I mean.
I wonder if it might, yes. Isn't there something here that can't be correct if the fire actually happened first? I should take another look at the effects of the fire on the crime scene here, and compare it to the evidence. Let's see, okay. If the fire was started... The fire had to have been started after, because the point of the fire is to get rid of, you know, this evidence. Alright, let's switch the recreations.
You want me to show you the scene as reported in the police's case file? In the police's case files, right? Okay, let's take another look at how things were when they found the body.
Who's the loud-ass car outside?
And there we have it.
Alright. So this is where Mr. Alldown really met his fate. But he was moved in order to make the scene consistent with the staged photograph. Over to the spot between the planters.
So the footprints. The fact that they go over there and come back.
Yes, I think that tells us something important. That they were left by whoever carried him over there.
Somebody's dropped a yellow flower here. It's a lion lily, right?
According to Franziska, we already read this. The lion lily's the same. Blood on the stone. A lot of it. It certainly looks as if a murder occurred here, doesn't it?
Wait, but we just figured out that Mr. Alltown was killed by the snowman, right?
We did. I think his blood might belong to somebody else.
What? But the police report said that the blood was Mr. Alldown's.
Need I remind you that the case was overseen by Chairman Winner? The man would have had no scruples about altering the official record over something this small.
But then, why go through all that trouble? Couldn't he have just cleaned up the blood instead?
He wasn't able to. Think about it. He knew that this was where the police would find Mr. Alldown's body. And he knew that the police would have certain scientific methods at their disposal to look for clues.
Oh, you mean luminol? Yeah, they would have found traces of blood if they'd used that for sure.
Exactly. He wouldn't have been able to clean it up to the point that it was undetectable.
Hello!
Trav, thank you for the raid. Welcome in. We're doing the Little Thief shuffle. We're switching back and forth between crime scenes, and it is disorienting. He wouldn't have been able to clean it up to the point where it was undetectable. Far easier to falsify the results of any such tests when they came back in. Okay, we love her. Also, hello, first time chat. Thank you for resubscribing, Trav. We're here, yeah. I got stuck a really long time because I forbore. I would simply have been a matter... Nope, it would simply have been a matter of replacing the official results with a doctored copy.
Yeesh, so we've been looking at forgery this whole time? That sucks.
Haha, wrong button. Stupid Cabernet control.
Wait, but it says Mr. Alldown's clothes were covered with blood too.
It does. And if they were, which seems entirely believable, it suggests that whoever's blood this is, it wasn't yet dry when Mr. Alldown's body was placed here.
I get it, which means that the other person's blood was spilt not long before Mr. Alldown was killed.
I think it does, yes. But if that's the case, doesn't that present something of a contradiction? Oh, we have to deduce. Okay, what was the contradiction? I wasn't paying attention.
It was spilt not long before Mr. Alldown was killed.
And his blood is all the way over here.
I guess?
Nope, we're fucked up. Damn. Oh my god, hold on, I'm gonna go back and read that. This piece of evidence clearly contradicts what we're seeing here.
Ooh, it does? Can't wait to hear this. Contradicts in how exactly?
Like this?
If you don't know, you can just say you don't know, you know.
I'd better think this over again. Okay.
The snow was melted by the fire, right?
And when did the fire? Oh, because the fire would have had blah, 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 blah. The fire had to have happened after the murder because there's no blood stain on the ground.
And when did the fire happen? We need to take another look and think about that.
Is it just the fire? Like, is that what we're supposed to present?
Eureka!
Yeah, I guess. Okay. There's a clear contradiction here.
Huh? The blood stain?
The blood is clearly cut off where the snow was melted by the fire. Which means that the blood in question was spilt before the fire was started.
Huh? But the fire happened before the murder, no?
If we choose to believe the case file, yes. Whoops. But if the fire was actually set after what happened here, the kid who lit it might have seen something. Then why isn't there a witness statement? Because that would have challenged Chairman Winner's version of events. We need to know more about this fire. I find it very funny that Lon keeps coming in to, like, add little lines of dialogue and then disappearing again. You. Yes, Shifu. The fire might have been reported to the police, which means there might be a record of it. Go see if they have anything and bring everything you find back here right away. Understood, Shifu. I'll get right on it. One more thing. What is it, Shifu? Contact my family back in Zhengfa. Tell them to search my father's office. There should be something related to the case. There should? What kind of something, exactly? I told you I'd seen the scene somewhere before, didn't I? Well, I've remembered where. It was in my father's office. He had a picture of it. Or at least, something very much like it. What? It looked like it was drawn by a child. Possibly a child from the orphanage. Possibly even the child who set the fire. It should still be there somewhere. Tell them to send it right away. Yes, Shifu.
Thank you, Long. Oh, can we talk to him now? Yay! Oh, no, we can't.
That was so sad. I got so sad so fast. Why can't we talk to him more? No. I don't believe there's any more to be found here. Okay. I think Mr. Alldown's body was moved. How else do we explain the button clutched in his hand? And that would suggest that he was killed somewhere near the snowman. I don't believe there's any more to be found here. Okay. Oh, we might have brain cells we need to put together. Oh, wait. No, that's just the body, isn't it? Yeah. Or like where the body was found. Yeah, let's put some brain cells together. That might be the answer. What did Winner dig up? And was Winner involved? If Chairman Winner was involved in President Wong's abduction, then it seems likely that whatever he dug up yesterday had something to do with the kidnapping.
Oh, I get it.
You do?
You bet I do. We're talking treasure, right? Loot. He must have been digging up the ransom money.
The ransom money? $100 million is an awful lot of cash. Especially for an orphanage that was then replaced with an empty lot. Burying it would have been a good way to keep it hidden until the heat died down. It certainly seems like a possibility.
Glad you agree.
Yay! Okay. Thank God. Oh, we didn't even get full health back because we did so dog shit. Shifu, I'm back. I brought everything to the police. Whoops, I brought everything the police had on the fire. And I also brought the picture from your father's office. Oh, and one more thing. About time. What kept you, huh? Well, hand it over. Let's take a look at this mysterious picture, shall we? Hey, man. Hey, dude. We know you. This is it. This is the picture I remember. Could this be a depiction of something that happened on the night of the incident?
It sure looks like a kid drew it, huh?
Yes. And I'm willing to bet it's the work of the child who set the fire. At the fire. That is a horrifying drawing, also. Like, the image of Candace is so scary. Why? Shifu, there's... What now? Look, it'll have to wait, okay? Well, Mr. Prosecutor, why do you think my father kept this? I imagine he acquired it at some point during his investigation. Although, I have no idea why he would have chosen to keep it to himself. Could we see the case file for the fire, too? Sure. Here. A fifth crime has hit the evidence folder. If you'll just give me a moment to read through it. It seems the boy who started the fire snuck out of bed on the evening of the incident. And then disappeared several days later. What? Must have been because he saw something, right?
No, a kid? Really? That's horrible.
Sadly not unimaginable. Huh? Looks like the kid left something behind that was put into evidence. Huh? What's this? But what's it doing in that case file? What is it, Mr. Prosecutor? Have you seen this somewhere before? Something very much like it, yes. We have a piece of evidence that could well be connected.
It's the Torosaurus horn from the little guy. Wait, I just want to look at him again, can we?
Oh, we can't. We can only present
Take
him.
that!
I don't know what it was doing in the evidence for that case. But it looks like that might be the missing horn from this stuffed toy. Soft toy. Soft toy. Aw. From this soft toy. Hey, that was President Wong's. You've seen it before? Of course. He always kept it somewhere close by. I remember it because of the missing piece. I see. It has a special device inside it that plays recorded sound when you twist the horn.
Hey, do you think maybe putting the horn back on might unlock some more recordings?
You never know. The toy itself should still be on the up on the 51st floor. Hey, you heard the man. Yes, Shifu. I'll go fetch it right away. Haha, fetch. Here it is, Shifu. The Torosaurus doll, just like you asked. Good work. Hand it to the prosecutor over there. Edgeworth has to say plushie. Well, does the horn found at the orphanage fit the president's plushie?
It fits perfectly.
And? Any more recordings on there? Oh. Hi, Dijun. Sorry. President Wang. It's me, Amelie. I know it's been a while. I saw on the news that you were visiting the country soon. And I didn't know whether I should get in touch at all, but in the end I decided I had to.
Overruled.
Turn it off. Right now. What's gotten into Judge Gavel?
Are you okay?
Just turn it off, please!
You see, I had a baby. A beautiful little boy. Your beautiful little boy. I'm sorry, that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you. Oh, except I called him Sean. Sean Fenn. It has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
No! Sean Fenn. The kid?
And also that I'll be at the orphanage on the evening of the 9th. I'll be waiting in the front yard. I thought you could meet him if you like, even if it's only just this once. I know you're a very busy man, but anyway, that's where we'll be. Goodbye.
What? He was my dad? I'm so sorry, Sean. Care to explain what the heck is going on, Gavel? Sean isn't my biological son. I adopted him. And he was aware of this? Yes, of course. His mother, Amelie Fenn. She died 5 years ago. We were cousins. But we were also friends. The best of friends. People often mistook us for sisters. And so, when she died, it seemed only natural that Sean should come and live with me. Of course, we had to keep his father's identity secret. I decided that the best way to do that would be for him to never know in the first place. This too is Yakuza 6. That's quite a lot to learn from a recording made on a seemingly innocent toy. I guess Sean's mother must have recorded the message and then sent the plushie to the president.
Hey,
Yes, Sean.
you're sure? He was really my dad?
Yes, I'm sure. Before you were born, your mother worked for a time as a diplomat in Zhengfa. Makes sense. That line of work might well have brought her into contact with the president.
What? You told me she worked at the orphanage.
She did, but only after she returned. After she quit the diplomatic service. She always loved helping others. The orphanage was perfect for her.
Knuckle back!
Sorry, Judge Gavel, but I have to ask. Amelie, the lady who asked the president to come. Why didn't she show up herself? Why isn't she anywhere in the files related to the SS5 incident? She never made it to the rendezvous that night. Someone was tailing her. I'll bet that was Chairman Winner's doing. But sadly, we can't prove it. And because she couldn't make it, she never saw the president again. And she died 5 years ago. This can't be easy for Sean.
Hey, Sean, are you thirsty? We could go get a soda? My treat, okay? Come on, I think I saw a vending machine over.
You think I can't buy myself a soda? This is important, and it's about me. I'm staying.
Oh, that didn't work at all.
Sean, perhaps now you can guess why I met with the president 2 nights ago. So that's it. That was the big secret. I wanted to tell him face to face that Amelie was gone. But also that you were alive and well. More than well. It makes sense now. No wonder Judge Gavelle was so keen to avoid sharing the details of their meeting.
Yeah. She would have had to share the truth about Sean, too.
That was why I took the lion lilies with me. So there would be no doubt that I knew Amelie, and that I knew her well. These flowers bore a special significance for the 2 of them, you see. President Wong gave Amelie a bouquet of lion lilies in the early days of their romance. But now, he too is dead. If only he had lived. Sean might finally have been able to get to know him. Shifu. I've been waiting for the right time to say this, but... What? What is it? You've been hovering there this whole time. Can't it wait? They sent something else from Zhengfa. President Wang's will. What? President's will, huh? I gave my father medal after medal. I had to come up with new ones just for him. Sorry, that's really funny. In the end, there were no medals left to give. So he made us the keepers of his last will and testament. This Chu is the greatest attorney! Those medals, that duty, they're our greatest pride. Haha, happy pride. Our family jewels. But this is... What is it, Agent Long? Does it have anything to do with our current case? You could say that. Seems he was planning on publicly acknowledging Sean as his son. Sean's name appears in the president's will? And we're certain that the document is authentic. That President Wang wrote it himself. Sure we are. It's old, but it's real. My family took charge of it before the SS5 incident happened. I want to analyze it back home to be sure, but I'd stake my name on it being the genuine article. Wang was a renowned world leader. A child nobody knew about would have been sure to cause a stir. And yet he chose to mention the child in his will nonetheless. Well, that's that, I guess. Still can't quite believe it, but the president confirmed it with his own hand. There's no denying it, Sean. You're President Wang's son. Sean. Sean! Guys, this is just like heavy rain. I'm gonna continue for a bit. It's not particularly late. Actually, hold on. Let me check like where I am guide-wise. because I don't want to like accidentally do the finale. Let's like, guys, there's so many people. There's so many people in this part of the game. What is this one called? Turnabout for the Ages. For the ages. Because we're like close to the end, but I don't think we were like at the end. Okay, yeah. We should be good. We have one more part before. Let me see how long the finale is actually. Because if the last part is like surprisingly short, then I should stop. But if it's not. Oh no, I remember now. The last part's like long as hell. Cool, let's get through more of this. The empty lot. Oh my god, this is just like. Sean. He was my dad. It can't have been easy learning the truth about his father's identity so unexpectedly. And too late to ever get to know him. You know how hard I tried to find him? Sean. I get it. He was the president. He had a lot more to think about than just me. But he was right there in front of me. Right there on the set. So why? Why didn't he just say something? Why didn't he tell me who he was? I'm sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry. Look at them. Oh, look at them. It's not your fault, Mom. It's mine. If I hadn't broken my promise to you, that fire would have never happened, and he wouldn't have... It ruined everything. Everything. It's all my fault. I even ruined your flowers. Sean, please. You mustn't blame yourself. Just try to be here with me. Just for a little while. The bond between parent and child, as symbolized by the lion lily. I'm no expert, but it's native to Zhengfa, so I know that much at least. Sadly, we don't have the luxury of dwelling on such things just now. I know it might seem insensitive, Agent Long, but sentimentality won't help us here. We need to focus on what we can do about the case before us. You're right. I believe we've learned all we need to know about... Nope, all we need to... Oh, fuck. I believe we've learned all we need to about what happened back then for now. How did it all line up with your father's theories about the case? I wouldn't know. He took those to the grave with him. He never shared his thoughts with anybody. There's no way of knowing now what he figured out. What about your own thoughts? Are you feeling any more positive in light of what we learned from Kay's reconstruction? Are we any closer to learning what really happened 12 years ago? You know, I think we might be. Father's footsteps are starting to become clear. Now all we need to do is follow them. All the way to the truth. There we go. Hold on, what was it called? The Real Story of the SS5 Incident. Hold on. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. I want to see how long this part is before I do the whole thing. There's 1, 2. Okay, it looks like there's 2 cross-examinations. It looks like there's really long chunks between said cross-examinations, but... The president went to the orphanage that night. That much we know for sure. The Torosaurus toy proves it. He must have gone there to meet with Amelie Fenn. Except he was kidnapped, and Aldown happened to see it. If Aldown hadn't been there, there wouldn't have been a murder, just a kidnapping. Instead, they had to move his body to the planters and stage that photo to throw everybody off the scent. So that's our current theory, is it? But there's just something I don't understand. There is? This. Why risk staging the picture? They would have had to force the president to play along. What if he hadn't? It's a good question. And we may be closer to discovering the answer than we think. We'll just have to get there one deduction at a time. Yeah, I guess I will. All right, deduce away. Okay. President went to the orphanage, we know that. Let's go there to meet with Amelie, except he was kidnapped, all down have to see it. His body to the planners and stage that photo throw everybody off.
And we're sure that's what really happened that night?
Thanks, Edgeworth.
What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth?
I get the sense we're still not seeing something. Everything, even. But there's something else at play behind it all.
There is? But what?
There's a piece of evidence we discovered that Agent Long's theory can't explain. We have to present him with it and develop our thinking further. Okay. Let's look at what do we have in our evidence that... I think the shoes, right?
Oh wait, no, what?
Go back. I skipped it. Okay. They had to move his body to the planters and stage that photo to...
Hold it!
This is another very important part of our current theory. Shall we go over all of the details again? Sure, probably a good idea. Alright, first, what did Aldown see? He saw the president being kidnapped from right in front of the building. But the kidnappers were keen to avoid any suggestion that they might be connected with the orphanage. Yep, so they replaced the film in Aldown's camera and staged a photograph of the kidnapping occurring further away from the building. Indeed. Then they moved Mr. Aldown's body to a location consistent with what the picture showed. The secrets buried underneath the snow 12 years ago are finally coming to light.
And we're sure that's really what happened that night? Oh, that's the same thing.
I do want to press the one before it, just in case.
Hold it!
If Mr. Aldown hadn't been there, huh? That's an interesting suggestion. Care to explain? It's not a whole lot to explain. He saw the kidnapping, so he was murdered. If he hadn't been there, maybe the kidnapping could have happened without any blood being spilled. But could it?
He makes it sound like he makes it sound as if it was Mr. Aldown's fault he was murdered.
That's not what Agent Long is saying, Kay. What he means is that Mr. Aldown was the only person who died at the orphanage that night.
Well, of course he was. They kidnapped the president and everything. But the ransom was paid and he came home safely, right?
She's right, of course, but why does something bother me about that? I think it might be worth taking another look over all the evidence. Finished discussing things with your assistant, Mr. Prosecutor? Then let's continue, shall we? Go back. So the bit is that, like, Aldown shouldn't have showed up, but for some reason he was there. Anyway, I'm here at the orphanage.
Objection!
Fuck, was that not it? Would you mind taking a look at this for me, Agent Long? What? Why? What are you trying to tell me here? You really don't see it? then I can only suggest that you are no longer the investigator you once were. Seriously? I'm not the one asking questions about irrelevant junk. If anybody's no longer the investigator they once were here, it's you. Ugh. I was sure that was the right piece of evidence.
What are you thinking, Mr. Edgeworth? This is Agent Long we're talking about. You can't go up against him unless you're totally sure you have something.
You're right. I need to start taking this more seriously. Okay. It's not that he happened to see it. Like, he was planning on going there.
Objection!
Fuck! Okay. Okay. Oh, fuck. No, wait, go back. Go back. Okay, let's press this just in case.
Hold it!
Could we go over the details once again? So Mr. Aldown saw the president being kidnapped from right by the orphanage.
And he was standing next to the snowman.
The murderer crept up behind him, grabbed a break-in. Sorry, he, like, howled at the top of his lungs and I skimmed past it. Calm down, Kay. We're simply verifying our understanding of events.
Yeah, well, that little outburst just blew my understanding out of my ears. I know we have to go over all this again, but can we do it less dramatically?
Really? Fine. I'm happy to keep answering if you're happy to keep asking. Okay. And we already pressed this? Yeah, we already pressed this. Wait.
Objection!
Yeah, we don't know whose blood that was yet. You're saying there wouldn't have... Nope, you're saying there would have been no murder if Mr. Aldown hadn't witnessed the kidnapping? But is that really the case? Why wouldn't it be? The main aim was to abduct the president, right? So if there hadn't been a witness to so if there hadn't been a witness present, they wouldn't have needed to murder anybody. Huh? And yet, it remains possible that Mr. Aldown wasn't the only person killed that night. There was a large pool of blood between the planters, but Mr. Aldown was murdered over by the snowman. It can't have belonged to him. What if all that blood by the planters belonged to somebody else?
Not so fast!
Come on, Mr. Prosecutor. You do realize what you're saying, don't you? I do. It's hard to believe. I'll be the first to admit it. But it's what the evidence suggests. Not just one person was killed here 12 years ago, but 2. You're saying they covered up a whole separate murder? But whose? Who else was killed that night? Whoever covered up this other homicide did so very skillfully indeed. They even seem to have been able to avoid it being mentioned in the files. But they didn't quite get rid of everything. We have a piece of evidence from 12 years ago that they never managed to erase. This clearly shows that something else happened that night. Hold on. Is it? Oh, is it this because Candace is in it?
Take that!
Excelsius Winner tried to shroud the existence of the other murder in darkness. But there was one piece of evidence he wasn't able to suppress. Thanks to the efforts of your father, Agent Long. My father? Cast your mind back, if you will. Something else was hidden along with all the something else was hidden along with all the other evidence from the crime scene. Hello. The existence of the child who set the fire in front of the orphanage. But why would Chairman Winner wish to erase him from the record? Because he saw something he should not have. That's why.
He did? What was it?
It's right here in this picture. The picture my father kept. I think we can all agree that's the president on the right-hand side. And that's the Torosaurus toy in his hand. But who's that standing across from him? Canis! Where the hell is he? Hey, man.
Take that!
Eastern robes and a black dog. Don't say Eastern. I'm gonna pick him up by the top of his head like a Nendoroid. That can only be Bodhidharma Canis.
What? The creepy assassin guy?
And what would a hired killer be doing in the presence of the president? I can think of only one thing. That's right. It wasn't a kidnapping that occurred here 12 years ago. It was an assassination.
Yeah. And Warden Lagarde and Chairman Winner were...
Yes. I think they were complicit. More than complicit, in fact. This is horrific to look at. I don't want to look at his face like that. Yeesh. One provided the venue for the killing, and the other suppressed the testimony of the child who witnessed it, which is horrific. Mr. Aldown was murdered because what he witnessed was actually an assassination, and not the kidnapping he thought it to be at all. Do you think I'm an idiot? How could the president have died 12 years ago? We only found his body this morning. He was alive and well until just recently.
Yeah, we even met him.
Indeed. So we have a president killed 12 years ago, and a president killed in the last 48... last 48 hours. Two presidents, in other words.
Right, which is completely impossible.
Or is it? I think it's entirely possible for there to be two presidents. In fact, that would explain a lot. But regardless of what happened, I still respected him. Shenfa may not be a big country, but he held that place together. The President Agent Long spoke of was a noble and capable leader. No, The presidential mask is well and truly slipped. Entirely unlike the man we met. It really did seem as if they were two completely different people. Those two is virtually the turnabout. What is exploding outside? But how could one country have two presidents? What could explain a situation like that? This is how it was possible for there to be two presidents. One of the two was a body double. Tell me that doesn't make sense. Body double. President Wang was a man of great power and influence in Shenfa, a figure on the world stage. There must have been countless attempts on his life over the years, such as the one at Gourd Lake only a few days ago. It's true. There were more than a few assassination attempts. That doesn't mean I'm about to accept that there was more than one president. Not without proof. Do we have proof? I don't remember. Hold on. Is it just the blood again? I want to try it.
Take that!
Nope, fuck. This proves it, surely. You have to agree that there were two presidents now. Sorry, but I don't. Not based on that, anyway. Longsi says, bad proof has no mouth. In other words, meaningless evidence can tell us nothing. Oops. Oof. I must have gotten that wrong.
If you could prove that he'd ever been in two places at once, that would be pretty good evidence that there were two presidents, right?
It would. Let's look over the evidence again and consider the facts of the case. What you're saying is impossible. There can't have been two presidents. If you want me to change my mind on that, I'm going to need to see some evidence. Proof that they were in two places at once.
Take that!
Oops. That was an accident. No, wait. Go back. Is it the child's drawing?
Take that!
I did not click that. This is what I get for not fixing which of my keys are stuck. Please, our health bar. Our health bar, please. Okay. Hold on. What did I not present? How is it? President of Shungpa was kidnapped and ransomed for $100 million. President present at embassy until midnight, confirmed by Da Long Long. So how's it going, not Prosecutor Edgeworth? Ugh.
Take that!
I don't think he's noticed the contradiction staring him in the face. Or is he just unable to accept it? What's the matter, Mr. Prosecutor? You're pretty quiet all of a sudden. In Amelie Fenn's recording, she asked the president to be at the orphanage at midnight. But it shouldn't have been possible for him to be there at the time.
Huh? How come?
Because he was supposedly still at the embassy. With your father, Agent Long. Your mom. So he had noticed. The only way he could have been in two places at once is if there were two of them. I'm not howling at the top of my lungs. I live with other people. So the real president, that was the one who died 12 years ago? I think it might have been. Why? And who? Who would have hired Canis to murder the president? Literally any number of people. He is a political leader. In order to figure that out, we'll need to look again at the piece of evidence we recently discovered was a fake. The fake evidence. What was it again? The shoes? I'm like nervous now, so I'm gonna double check the guide, but... Or the photo? The photo.
Take that!
The picture taken with Mr. Aldown's camera was staged sometime after his murder. And Mr. Aldown was murdered because he witnessed the president's assassination. In other words, the photograph too must have been taken after the real president's death. So who is the president in the staged photograph? The body double. Nothing else makes sense. I believe the president's double had him killed so that he could take his place permanently. And Excelsius winner and Fifi Lagarde helped him do it.
Knock him back!
Wait, you don't even have a body to support your theory. Are you telling me it magically disappeared?
Objection!
No, in fact we know exactly where it wound up. The president's body was here the whole time. Oh my god, just like Sam Reich. Hold on, let me look at... Unless they buried it. Oh, fuck, it's super dead. That's fucked up. That's fucked up, man.
Take that!
This too is the Great Ace Attorney. Chairman Winner dug something up last night. Something he couldn't trust anybody else to retrieve. We thought it might have been the ransom money, but it was actually something even more important.
Wait, you mean...
That's right. The real president's body. I think it's highly likely, anyway.
What?
The body may have decomposed in the intervening years, but the bones would surely have remained. Mr. Powers informed us that construction is due to start here sometime soon. Everything had to be wrapped up before then. The shooting of the movie, and the recovery of the president's remains.
Yeah, I guess once they started digging the place up, they would have found them pretty quick, huh?
This is just like Desperate Housewives. Like, actually. Agent Long, we need to have the so-called monster footprints analyzed again. Yeah, I guess we do. There's a body under one of them. There should be trace evidence to confirm it. Hey, get me somebody from forensics. Look at them both doing the little finger tap. Look at both of them have the same nervous habit. Cute. It's Kagami! Sir, presenting the findings of our analysis, sir. Traces of human remains were found in the dirt, along with other signs of a body having been buried. Ugh. So it really was him. Bones were also recovered from the home of Excelsius Winner. Oh, we finally hit it. Holy shit. The physique looks to be about right, and dental and medical records are a match. It's him, no doubt about it. Gross. So as suspected, the real President Wong was killed 12 years ago. Did I read that right? Okay. So... the way I interpreted this when I first played the game initially was that traces of human remains were found in the dirt as well as bones were recovered from his house, and that these were two separate bodies. I had processed that as Excelsius had like his wife's bones in his house. But it's occurring to me that the traces of human remains are, you know, what has been left over after years and years of decomposition. And he had successfully dug up the bones of the president of Zhengfa and kept them in his house. And he had like the cement and whatnot to then presumably do like some sort of like, I'm totally doing garage work, guys, to cover that up. And the SS5 kidnapping was in fact a homicide. Gross. Really gross, man.
Wow. So it really was a murder, huh? This case has taken so many twists and turns, I'm starting to lose track.
I have 5 cases worth of evidence in my organizer. It's not very organized anymore. Yes, perhaps we should summarize our findings just to confirm that we understand everything correctly.
Good idea. Let's go over everything from the point where the president arrived at the orphanage.
12 years ago, the real President Wang visited the orphanage. His aim? To meet his infant son. He for president. The footprints were originally assumed to be those of Mr. Aldown. Wait, did I? The footprints we originally assumed to be those of Mr. Aldown seem likely to have been actually made by the president upon his arrival. Okay. But instead of being greeted by his child, he was met by the assassin, Bodhidharma Canis.
That's so sad. He was hoping to see his baby for the first time, only to...
Indeed. But at least with Mr. Canis, we can be sure that the job was swiftly and effectively completed. But then, after the assassination, another tragedy occurred.
Mr. Aldown's murder.
Yes. It seems he witnessed a key moment in the event's proceedings. The moment when our culprits, so-called kidnappers, took the president's body around to the side of the building. That was the sight that sealed his fate. We've now established that he was standing by the orphanage gates at the time. Far enough away that he believed that what he was seeing was the president's abduction. At which point...
Oh, the body double who had come to meet up with his co-conspirators. Walked right up behind Mr. Alldown.
leading our unfortunate eyewitness. Wait, what? Leading to our unfortunate eyewitness.
Being murdered by the man who was plotting to replace the president. So was it the body double who moved Mr. Alldown's body too?
Yes, I think it probably was.
But none of the footprints could have been his, could they?
Actually, I think they could. In fact, we have a piece of evidence that proves how that particular trick was achieved. Shoes. What shows how the body double managed to remove the body without leaving any footprints? Shoes.
Take that!
What if the president's double moved Mr. Alldown's body like this? After killing Mr. Alldown, he could have carried him to the other side of the entrance. Given that his job was to look just like the president, he would have been wearing the same shoes, meaning that if he stepped exactly in the footprints left by the real president.
Of course. His would have been the same shape and size. It would have looked like a single set of footprints. So that's how it all went down. I'm so glad we finally figured it out. Wait, but there's still one thing I don't get.
There is? What?
Why did they need to pretend there was a kidnapping?
Mr. Alldown had seen the president at the orphanage and left a message on Miss Ringer's phone describing what he thought he saw. It would have been impossible for the conspirators to erase that message. So they had to make it look as if the events described in the message were true.
By staging a kidnapping like the one he thought he saw.
Exactly. I think the two people in the photograph are likely to be the body double and Fifi Lagarde.
She's the one in the trench coat? How can you be so sure of that?
The two of them would have had to walk out beyond the orphanage gates to stage the photo. The body double could have put his feet in the real president's prints as he did before.
Oh, so the other set of footprints was hers.
The ones we originally thought belonged to the killer, yes. They were about a size 9, too small for Chairman Winner, in other words. Which means the kidnapper must have been played by Warden Lagarde. And that explains how a so-called kidnapping was actually a presidential assassination. It does. Which means my father must have... He must have... noticed. There's no way he wouldn't have suspected a murder. Especially not with the kid's picture as proof. But the picture was never officially put into evidence, correct? No. He appears to have kept hold of it after taking the witness statement of the child who drew it. Yeah, because he knew. He knew President Wang was dead. And he knew what would happen if that news ever got out. Zheng Fa would have been plunged into chaos, no doubt. So he kept it a secret, and that secret died with him. This too is the great ace attorney, too. Ah, fuck. Wait, hold on, go back. Even though it meant taking the blame for the kidnapping, and our family name being ruined. So your father knew the truth about what happened 12 years ago, but he chose to hide it.
Well, it's finally coming to light at last.
Ooh. Is this who I think it is? Is it indeed? Intriguing.
Huh?
What? Who's there? Yeah. That sound. Is that a bell? Bodhidharma Canis.
Oh, helmet.
What the heck are you doing here? Guy who says heck. Where's the law? You think you can just show up in front? Where's the law? You think you can just show up in front of us like it ain't a problem? Forgive me, but I couldn't help overhearing the fascinating conversation you were having. The opportunity to gloat over your past crimes was just too good to miss, I expect. Edgeworth, I need you to calm down. That is distinctly an assassin. You killed President Wang. I did, but it's not something I'm inclined to gloat over. I was more interested in something else you mentioned. Or someone else, I should say. Should I say, fuck. Someone you're looking for, I suppose. Exactly. That's why I took a little sojourn from the penitentiary. To find a certain young pup. A young pup in a rather eye-catching red raincoat. What?
Wait, you know who they are?
In a manner of speaking, what did you call them? A secret mastermind?
It's your Fred and...
It's your Fred?
It's your friend in the red raincoat, of course.
Red raincoat. The prosecutor looks a little surprised, doesn't he, Helmet? Yes, he does. The young pup I mentioned. He saved my life, you know. 12 long years ago. Hee. Okay, there was like surprisingly not as much like lengthy rambling between the two cross-examinations as I expected. Though this one has 2 sections, I think. As you may have surmised, it was I who killed President Wang. But that meant that I, too, became an inconvenience in need of removal. I'm surprised this game yaps for way too long. Yeah. The imposter president, Winner, Lagarde, all 3 were keen to guarantee my silence. And if I hadn't met my friend, the young pup again, they might even have succeeded. I wonder what he's doing now. So it was the president's body double who hired you. Ah, fuck. No. I remember his words almost as if it were yesterday.
You know how many times I've nearly been killed? Not once. Not twice. A bunch of times. Why do I have to take all the risks? Why am I the one they always put in danger? When I'm out there being him, people... Oh, wait, I was reading this as totally the wrong person. Holy shit. This is the body double. I was thinking Red Raincoat Kid. I fucked up. I wasn't paying attention. You know how many times I've nearly been killed? Not once. Not twice. A bunch of times. Why do I have to take all the risks? Why am I the one they always put in danger? When I'm out there being him, people treat me like I was him. They worship me. So what's the difference? Who's to say I couldn't be just as good as him? There was a difference, of course. Even if he did look and sound exactly like him. Just because it walks and talks like a president, that doesn't make it a president, does it, boy? No. So he got his wish and became the boss, but he couldn't quite fill his predecessor's shoes. I don't remember Knight's voice. Rook's not around, that means I'm number 1. I wonder if you have what it takes to step into such capable shoes. Of course I do. I'm the leader now. Me! It seems the king and his knight were much the same. The president's double knew that his employer had a weakness, a young woman named Amelie. But in order to find her, he needed to enlist the help of locals. Locals such as Chairman Winner.
Once Miss... Yep. Once Miss Fenn had been located, they simply needed to find the right time to lay their trap.
The meeting she arranged so the president could meet his son. That would have been the perfect opportunity.
Indeed. And with the head of the orphanage brought into the fold, their little conspiracy was complete. Warden Lagarde. Now, quid pro quo. Where might I find the pup?
Sick Silence of the Lambs reference, if that's what it is. I really hope it is.
What makes you think the boy who helped you and our mysterious string puller are one and the same? He set a little fire that night, out there in the yard of the orphanage.
I really hope quid pro quo is a Hannibal Lecter reference, because like it would be so perfect to have Edgeworth talking to this killer that he put behind bars as if he were Lecter. That would be so good. I haven't seen The Silence of the Lambs in a hot second. I should rewatch it. Everybody watched. Okay, maybe not everybody watched Silence of the Lambs, but like if you were cool with the content that is in Silence of the Lambs, you should watch Silence of the Lambs. It's a good movie. Ugh. Or Hannibal. Hannibal is also a good series that I need to rewatch expeditiously.
Oh, yeah, we saw that. It was some kind of a prank, right?
A prank? It was nothing of the sort, my dear. No, as I understand it, he had taken refuge in the igloo by the entrance. From there, he happened to see Winner and Lagarde carrying away a dead body. He also overheard them hatching a certain sordid little plot. A plot to remove me, the only other person who knew what had really happened, from the picture. Thankfully, he was kind enough to come and inform me. I was waiting inside the building, you see. He also happened to mention later on that he was wearing his favorite red raincoat.
Ah, because Canis is blind.
In any case, he escorted me from the premises. And being a very considerate boy, thought to erase both our footprints from the scene of the crime. It seems he had a little kerosene set aside in the igloo for just such an occasion. So he spread it liberally about the place and set himself a little fire.
This is such a like scary scenario. Like actually, like I don't know what it is about this game that scares me more than the other games, where it's like, God, this little kid was hiding in an igloo and he watched 2 murders happen. Presumably, at least 1 murder happened, and then heard about a plan for a 3rd, so he had to make a deal with a serial killer. Sorry, I don't think serial killer is technically the right term. But, like, an assassin.
No way. So that's what the fire was for.
It must have been ever so beautiful. Winner and Lagarde were positively enchanted. And while they were distracted by the show, he took the opportunity to usher me out of a side entrance. You never answered my question. You really think he's the one behind all this? I do indeed. Don't I, Helmet? Yes, yes I do.
I love Helmet. He has definitely killed people, but I like this dog. I'm giving him pets. Anyway.
As you have surmised, it was I who killed President Wong. We already did this. Fuck.
Okay. The imposter, haha. And my friend, the uncovered gun, succeeded in whatever he's doing now.
Sounds like kind of an interesting relationship Mr. Canis has with his young pup, huh?
Yes. I wonder if something in it might hold the key to our mastermind's motives. I doubt we'll meet many other people with a direct connection to them. Let's see what we can convince him to share.
Okay. I want to press one of the later ones.
Hold it!
Is that why you're looking for him? Surely not. Don't tell me you're trying to find him just to say thank you. Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy? I certainly owe him a debt of gratitude. I think we can all agree on that. And Helmet took a liking to the child. He even did tricks for him. Paw, lay down, that kind of thing.
Wait, but your dog tricks are different from the ones we're used to, right?
A little, yes. If I tell him to lay down, he wraps his mouth around the subject's leg and...
I'm not listening. That's enough, okay?
I'm teasing, of course. The tricks he performed for the boy were entirely innocent. I guess he really did feel that he owed him something.
Sounds like we already did that.
The horrors.
Hold it!
Again? So the two of you had met before? Yes, on a cold and lonely Christmas Eve 18 years back. That long ago. But on that occasion, it was I who saved his life. I forgot this happened before, and not after. It was snowing, more than it had in years, and cold enough that death by freezing was a real possibility. I had taken Helmet out for a little walk. He noticed something and bounded off through the snow. When I caught up to him, he was sniffing at a car. The doors had frozen shut. It took all the strength I had, but eventually I managed to open one. Oh. And inside I found two young boys, shivering and semi-conscious. God, this is brutal. Two. Yes. And had I found them even an hour later, the poor wretches would never have made it. I took them both to a nearby orphanage. Is it me, or is there something significant about what he just told us? There is. The number of people. The make of that car. Wait, I want to go back and say the make of that car. That would be funny. You're certain there were two children in that car? It was a long time ago, but I remember it as clearly as if it were yesterday. There were two of them, no doubt about it. Why do you ask, Mr. Prosecutor? Is there some significance in the number? Perhaps there isn't anything particularly important about that just now. Well, will that be all on the matter? I want to talk about the make of the car. Do you remember the make and model of that car in which you found the children? Why would I remember such a thing? And what significance could it possibly have? It was a car like any other. There was nothing remarkable about it, other than the two children inside it frozen half to death. The make of the car isn't important at all.
I thought it would be funny because I like my Carboy Edward thinking.
This was on Christmas Eve 18 years ago. You're certain of that? I am. Oh, hi, Fender. Holy smokes. We have something that shows why that date is so significant.
Which piece of evidence relates? The IS-7 incident was 18 years ago.
That was the same day on which a certain incident occurred. The murder of a well-known sculptor.
No way.
An incident in the aftermath in which two children went missing. The son of the victim, Artie Frost, and the son of the murderer, Carmelo Augusto.
Yeah, now that you mention it, the little guys did go AWOL, huh?
These poor kids.
Intriguing. The son of a murderer and the son of his victim. I suppose that would make sense. It would. One of the boys was bound hand and foot, you see.
That must have been part of Mr. Frost's plan to stop Mr. Gusto's son from getting to the competition.
Indeed. Because without his son to taste his creations, Mr. Gusto would have had no chance of winning. So that was... what? So that was what was behind it all. Sadly, neither of the boys were able to remember any such details. They weren't? No. When we met each other again on that night 12 years ago, the young pup explained it to me. It seems that they really were on the brink of death when I found them. And the shock of the experience caused them both to lose their memories. They weren't even able to remember their names.
Wow. So they wouldn't have known they were Mr. Frost and Mr. Gusto's kids.
What he's telling us is true. That would seem likely, yes. Which means we still don't have enough to tell us who our mastermind might be. Mr. Canis, would you mind telling us what happened next?
See, I know who the two children are, and, like, on a replay, I notice, like, I can tell who, like, there were hints dropped. But on a first playthrough, like, it must be really hard to catch it. At least I think so.
By all means.
The pup and I.
Cute.
The pup and I remained in contact even after I was sent to prison. But then I stopped hearing from him. I couldn't help but worry. And then people from 12 years ago started cropping up all over the place. It rather piqued my curiosity, so I thought I'd temporarily regain my freedom and look into things. People from 12 years ago. You mean Lagarde, Winner, and the President, I assume?
Well, Warden Lagarde was in charge of the prison where he was an inmate the whole time, right?
I fear I wasn't as kind to her as I could have been. But then she did try to have me killed. You already know why, of course. Because you murdered President Wang, but they needed the world to believe he was still alive. If somebody had exposed the president as a fake, it would have been bad for Lagarde and Chairman Winner, too. Exactly. And not only that, I happened to overhear something else intriguing that night.
I'll be at the orphanage on the evening of the 9th. I'll be waiting in the front yard. I thought you could meet him if you like, even if it's only just this once. I know you're a very busy man, but anyway, that's where we'll be.
Who are you? Sorry, but I'm waiting for somebody. I know you are, President Wang. I couldn't help overhearing the news. Congratulations. But please don't worry about your son. I only kill those I am employed to kill, which in this case means you. No. Wait, this is my first chance to meet him. And it might be my only chance. Please, give me just a few minutes longer. I thought he was going to beg for his life, but no. An interesting character. I told him I was not aware that he had a child. No, he said, and shook his head. Neither was I, but the world will know that I have one now. I mean to make sure of it. I've even prepared something in case the worst comes to the worst. And the son in question. It was the young gentleman with the horns here, correct?
Horns? You can see them?
I don't need to, my dear. I've been listening very carefully, you see. And for longer than you may realize. So the president meant to tell the world about Sean, and prepared something in case of the worst. But it's not enough to simply have Canis's word on the matter. Of course. We have something that proves he's telling us what the president said is true. The will. The will everybody knew about. He entrusted it to my family to show his belief in us, after all. The name in the recording, the preparations he had made, and his will. With those 3 pieces of information, I was able to convince Warden Lagarde to do anything I asked. With the information at his disposal, he could have exposed the truth about the body double at any time. And Sean's true identity with it. President Wang was more agile.
Ow. My knee. I bumped it into the desk.
He blocked my first knife thrust with something soft.
Oh, the toy.
By the time the next piece had broken off and hit the snow, my next strike had hit its mark. So it was Canis who tore the horn off the Torosaurus doll. I was the only one present to hear his final words. The only one who knew the truth about his son. Well, me and that poor pup.
Okay. Made contact. And I stopped hearing from him. And then people from 12 years ago started cropping up all over the place. Okay, nope. I still don't get it. Who does he mean? Who's this pup he keeps talking about?
Who indeed? It seems that not even Mr. Canis knows his true identity. We should focus on what we do know. That there was a connection between the 2 of them. I'm particularly interested in how that connection was maintained.
Ooh, we know. Remained in contact.
Hold it!
So you were able to continue communicating with him from prison? I was, via a post office box.
What's that?
It's a means of exchanging mail without revealing one's own address. I never knew where he was, and I wasn't able to slip out and track him down. I was being kept under rather strict supervision, you see. By Warden Lagarde, no doubt. What were the 2 of you even communicating about? We were playing correspondence chess, of course. That and griping about our respective lots in love.
Correspondence chess? But didn't you use that to play with?
As unlikely as it might seem. As it might seem, Mr. Canis' chess opponent was.
Mr. Knight? Yeah, it was Mr. Knight.
We found the diagram of the game in his cell, too. So does that mean Knight had something to do with all that IS-7 business? Wait. Could that be it? Do we have any evidence that might connect Knight to the IS-7 incident? I mean... Rook? No. Sorry, that's really funny. Let me double check. I mean, I know what the connection is, but IS-7 incident. Gregory Edgeworth mentioned. There's some sort of connection between Knight and Canis. Oh, wait, no.
Take that!
No, that wasn't right. Mr. Fender, could you take a look at this, please? Sure can, good buddy. But why? You're not trying to tell me this ties Knight to the IS-7 thing, are you? Because I gotta say, Miles Areno, I don't see it at all. Fine. I need to think this over one more time. Oh, hold on. You had some of Bronxter's things, right? Why not take another look-see? Maybe something IS-7 relevant will jump out at you? Knight's things. I suppose it could be worth another look. Do we have to press this again?
he played correspondence chess with Knight. Where's his stuff? There's so much stuff in our organizer. And this does connect him to the IS-7 incidents.
Take that!
This is everything Knight left behind. Could there be a clue in here somewhere? A ring and a chess set. Which one should we look at more closely? The ring. The ring.
What about it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Mr. Fender, take a close look at it if you would. The design. That's Paul Halik's trademark mark. Indeed. It looks like somebody turned the stamp he used to sign his work with into a ring. But why would Knight have been carrying it? Oops. And why was it not with the rest of the evidence from the IS-7 incident? This too is the Great Ace Attorney too. He tried to release Frost's personal effects to his next of kin after the case wound down. But if I remember rightly, old Frosty Boy didn't have any family aside from his kid. And the kid was missing, so they never got to hand it back to him. Not till later, anyhow. I heard on the grapevine that they found him in the end and gave him the goods. Including the seal, it would seem. Which he turned into a ring and wore until his own death. Yep.
So we're saying Mr. Knight was Mr. Frost's son?
The cops don't mess around with stuff like that. Well, we've said multiple times that they very much do. But anyway, they would have made sure before handing it over.
And we were looking for somebody connected to the IS-7 incident who played correspondence chess, right?
Wait, so our secret string puller is Bronco Knight?
Objection!
Knight is dead. How could he possibly be involved in our current case? Far out. So our only candidate for genius mastermind is a guy who already kicked the bucket. Looks like you just gone and kicked the bucket.
It's impossible. How can a dead guy be behind all this?
It is a little perplexing. But then, who else could it be? Okay. And I couldn't stopped hearing from him, couldn't help but worry. Rather piqued my curiosity, I continues to enjoy tapping out my little letters in Braille. This is a weird way to add the, add this statement.
Hold it!
In Braille? That's how you wrote all of them? That's right. I have the tools to do so in my cell, which are, I discovered recently, the tools to write Braille are there's a lot of really expensive, high-tech tools to make Braille, but they're, not proportionally, good quality-wise. And writing Braille can be, sighted people writing Braille or, people who do not read Braille, writing Braille can often be questionable, especially at, higher levels, not higher quality, but more expensive tools used to write Braille are not proportionally better from what I've gathered. And I've gathered very little. But there is a content creator who talks about writing in Braille. She herself is blind. She has white, very curly hair and talks about accessibility pretty frequently. I do not remember what her handle is. But if I find her, I can put her in my Discord again, talking about Braille tools and whatnot. One of the simpler ways to write Braille is with a literal stylus and physically doing it by hand. And I think what she said was that was one of the easier tools to do it. And I assume that's what Canis has.
Huh. So you have to use special tools? I never thought about it before, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, you cannot just, hack at a piece of paper with, any object that makes the marks. The raised bumps. They have to be done somewhat consistently. Because the issue is, what if you tear the paper? Or, what if you make the bump, weird? Etc. And what exactly did you write about, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh, this and that. General chit-chat. And chess moves, of course. He wrote the chess moves in Braille, too. That's interesting.
Speaking of chess moves, how does that piece you carved yourself move? The dog.
Perhaps we can talk about that later. But now, I'd like to know what happened with when the letters stopped. I sat in my cell and tried to imagine where he might have gone.
Okay, I nope, I still don't get it.
I did so used to enjoy tapping out my little letters in Braille, but are we supposed to point out these are not written in Braille? These are handwritten. Printed rather than handwritten. Checking. Yeah.
Objection!
You said that you wrote all of your letters in Braille. Is that correct? Whoops. I don't mean to be rude, Mr. Prosecutor, but you do know about my condition, don't you?
Ah,
That's odd, because the chess diagram we found in Knight's cell didn't contain any Braille at all. Really? But surely that's impossible. How so, exactly?
maybe someone typed Mr. Canis's letters out on purpose?
Meaning there may have been some sort of intermediary between the two of them.
So then...
Mr. Canis says he wrote his letters in Braille, and yet the letters received by Mr. Knight contained no Braille at all. This suggests that there must be a third party who typed Mr. Canis's letters out. I guess it could have worked the same way on the flip side, too, right? Whoever it was could have taken Knight's letters and turned them back into Braille. They could indeed. I think you and Mr. Knight were both communicating with this person, Mr. Canis. Mr. Canis, the answers you received. They were written in Braille too, yes. So some mysterious middle person really was retyping the Bronxter's missives. And that same person might very well be our secret string puller.
Not so fast!
Wait. You're trying to say there's another hidden mastermind behind this whole thing? So who's this new one? Bronco Knight, son of Artie Prost, is already dead. But what if the other child from the incident 18 years ago was actually who we've been looking for? I said that with such a weird delivery. But what if the other child from the incident 18 years ago was actually who we've been looking for? Carmelo Augusto's son. But who is he? And where is he? If Knight was Frost's son, Augusto's son would have to be.
I've known him since we were kids.
When both of us were all alone. He doesn't have any family, you see. Just like me. Him. But surely not.
What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? You're white as a sheet.
Of course. It all makes sense. I know exactly who our so-called mastermind is.
What? Who? You have to tell us.
I can hardly believe it. It's somebody we know rather well. The person we've been looking for is...
Take that!
It has to be. The person behind all this. The person who forced Chairman Winner's hand by sending the letter to Rosie Ringer. The person who kidnapped Sean and bugged Kay and myself. The person who did the strangest thing of all. Who drugged Kay and carried her up to the roof of the big building. It was the monster.
What? Did you really just say what I thought you did?
Yes, the monster. That was the key to unmasking our mastermind.
Oh, I almost forgot. We're doing a new show soon. I'd love it if you could come, Mr. Edgeworth. Hi, Max Galactica. I'll be joining Regina on stage for this one.
That's right. The Berry Big Circus is the biggest, most fabulous event in town. You'll have oodles of fun.
Ms. Lloyd, could I ask a favor?
Very Big Circus mentioned. It's very funny. Nav was here for like literally the first like 2 minutes of this stream. I'll have to go back and tell her that Regina showed up. Who, little old me? What kind of favor?
You told us you recorded the sound of Torosaurus breathing fire. Proof? What kind of proof? Did you capture something on your tape recorder, perhaps?
Ooh, you're good, Ruffles. Sharper than a gosh dang tack. I captured the sound of that big old beastie breathing fire is what I captured. Sure did. Like I said, I didn't precisely see the guy, but boy, I did. What? But boy, did I hear him.
Can we listen to the tape?
You surely can. Let's see now.
That's it. That sound. It must be what I think it is. My theory has to be correct. The truth about the monster. The identity of the person behind all this. It's all falling into place. Miss Hart, you saw a giant eye at the window of the storeroom, did you not?
Yup, snap me a picture of it too. Even if you can't rightly see it so well.
I can't see it right now, but...
Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, sir. Your image analyzer. Can we borrow it again? Borrow it again?
Sure. What do you want to look at, sir?
This photograph right here.
Gotcha. I'm on it.
The clue we're looking for must be here. We have to find it.
Eureka!
Oh, fuck. Wait. Is it just...
Eureka!
You can't tell for sure because of the rainbow. That's Miss Ringer right before she died, right?
It is. The same Miss Ringer who was in a relationship with Mr. Aldown, the victim from 12 years ago.
Imagine how she felt. Coming so close to finding the truth, only to die right before she found it. It must have been so awful. We'll uncover the truth in the end, won't we, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, we will if I have anything to do with it. Just leave it to me. The clue we're looking for must be here. We just have to find it.
Was it not this? Okay. I guess we'll just keep trying corners. Was it not?
Eureka!
What? Hold on. I swear to God I'm clicking on it.
Eureka!
What? Oh, we haven't been zooming in properly. There we go.
Eureka!
I thought you would present it and then you would... Okay. That's... See? I done told y'all. Torosaurus his own dang self.
Yes, there it is at last. The monster commanded by the architect of this whole scheme.
I don't like the danger music. It sounds so scary. Monster? You're finally ready to admit it? That he's dang well real? The big bad bull himself?
Objection!
No, because that isn't Torosaurus at all. It's the eye of a different giant beast entirely. It's Gordy. No, take a look at this if you would.
The very big circus flyer? Oh, wait, look.
You see it? The enormous lion balloon? That's the real monster. And the sound Miss Lloyd thought was this creature breathing fire.
Oh, come on. You're really gonna bring me crashing down to Earth like that?
That's how balloons fly, huh? They burn gas to make hot air? They do. And our culprit was able to use that balloon to carry Kay up to the roof of the big building without ever going near the elevator.
So this culprit, they got something to do with the circus?
Circus worker, a friend of the Bronxter, son of Gusto. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're not serious. You forgot to mention trainee animal tamer. It's hard to believe. But he's the one who's been pulling the strings this whole time. That's right. Simeon Saint is the one behind all this. Oops.
Simeon. But everything? Really? I don't believe you. We trusted him. And he trusted us. You can't tell me that was all lies. That would be too horrible.
I'm sorry, Kay. Hmm? Who was that?
Hey, where do you think you're going, old man?
Nothing escapes you, does it, young pup? My congratulations, Mr. Edgeworth. But now that I know the truth, my business here is done.
What? No, Mr. Canis, wait. Oh. Oh! Oh, that's the dog. Damn it. He disappeared.
Are you okay, Mr. Edgeworth?
Don't worry, I'm fine. But
Damn you!
are you all right, Sean?
He killed my dad. He did, right?
There's no easy way to say it, but sorry, Sean. It would appear that he did.
He won't get away with it. I'll make him pay. Somehow. Some way, I'll...
No, Sean. You mustn't say such things. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. You'll have to forgive us both. Just put the call out, sir. All units are on the lookout for Mr. Canis. I don't mean to hurry everybody, but we better be on our way too. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, where do you think we'll find our mastermind? I suppose you're right. We should go after the mastermind right now. He said he had to practice for the show, which I guess means he'll be at the circus. But before we leave, there's something I'd like to ask of you, Agent Lung. There is? What? Once a beast has been sighted, the next step is to plan its capture. When we arrive, there's something we'll need to try and find as a matter of top priority. And Detective, I'd like you to look into something that's been bothering me about Sean's kidnapping. Yes, sir.
I want to help too, Mr. Edgeworth.
Good. There's somebody I'd like you to try and contact. If Saint really is our mastermind, we're going to need this person's help. Between our many encounters, I never suspected a thing, even though he was right there in front of me. I messed up. There's no other way of putting it. But I'm going to put things right once and for all.
Yay! Okay, we hit a good stopping point. Excellent. which means I need to snooze the ad break again, but it means our next stream of Ace Attorney Investigations 2 is going to be the finale. Oh, man. Hey, while you're here, by the way, you guys should check out Turnabout, an Ace Attorney musical, but also Turnabout Big Top, another Ace Attorney musical. It is the adaptation of Turnabout Big Top that made me cry a bunch. Let's go back to the menu theme to have nice exit music. Yeah, I'll save again. Why not? All right. Oh, the Big Top. Damn. All right. So. Oh shit. Yeah. Next week will be the finale of Ace Attorney Investigations 2. If I was like super cool and prepared, we could do a cosplay stream. I don't know how super cool and prepared I will be. And I also don't know what the weather is going to be like, because if it's way too warm in my room, I'm not going to do it. But if I'm super cool and prepared, maybe we'll do a cosplay stream. Don't quote me on that. But it's a possibility. I don't know when that finale stream is going to be. This upcoming week, I may be busy. So it may be the week following? Yeah, that's probably likely. It is likely that the finale will be June 14th. Probably. Or possibly a Sunday. We shall see, we shall see. All right, what is coming up? Yeah, because of that, I don't know what streams are going to look like this week. So I guess whatever is coming up is whatever is coming up. A good way to keep up on what is coming up with me is to join my Discord server, which has gone by a couple of times. But if you are not already a part of the Discord community, go ahead and join my Discord server. Shout out to my stream bot for going off and telling us play the Ace Attorney Investigations collection. If you haven't played this game yourself already, you really should. You can support me by purchasing it off of my Nexus link, which is in the chat right now. What else is there? With this stream being concluded, we are going to be caught up with VODs once again. I haven't been putting up VODs for sort of my one-off streams, but maybe I should. Maybe I should, especially because I think I'm going to be doing more of them, and maybe people will want to watch VODs for reasons beyond just I want to catch up with the story. We'll see, we'll see. What else is there? I think that's basically about it. I'm going to check if there's anybody live right now that we can raid, but I feel like the answer is no. Yeah, I don't think anybody that we know is live right now. Yeah, it looks like there is nobody that I know personally who is live. So we are just going to call it a night. Happy Pride, everybody. It's the first day of Pride. And what a way to start it off. Ace of Attorney. Because I am what? Ace and not an attorney. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this. Today's Sunday. That's gonna be it for the beginning of this week. I will see if I see you guys later this week. Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.